Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Yes. The Allen Stiles Show is live and in the building. We have made it to game day. Your Sacramento Kings, they have an opportunity now. Kyle Ledbetter behind the glass for us. Sacramento Kings, they have an opportunity. Who do you want to be, Sacramento? Do you want to be this cute team that went on a cute run and then just went back into nothingness? Or do you want to be somebody in this league? Do you want to take the bull by the horns? Do you want to take this opportunity, this golden opportunity that you've given to yourself? You took an opportunity away from yourself to the point where you didn't even think that you controlled your own destiny, to now you do. And now you've put yourself in a position where there are expectations. You know, yesterday we talked a lot about whether or not we should expect the Kings to be in the playoffs and not through the play-in, right? Expect a 5 seed. Expect a 6 seed. It doesn't really matter what we expect. In that building, it wasn't too long ago. I know it was a different head coach, but in that building, not too long ago, as Kyle always likes to joke, 18 months, whatever it is, the Kings were having conversations about the second round as if that was the bare minimum. Getting to the playoff, that was the bare minimum. That was supposed to be the new standard. And I know things went awry, but it was all internal, right? They're besides the injuries that happened with Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, they already weren't in a great place when that happened, by the way. But they could have made a push to be the 5 or 6 seed, and they didn't. They lose in the play-in. They don't get out of the play-in. But it wasn't too long ago, we were talking about the Sacramento Kings being a second-round playoff team as the minimum. Now here we are. Some things have happened. All you've done is technically get better, right? I mean, we had the conversation whether or not DeMar DeRozan has helped the team pound for pound. I know it's not that simple all the time based on how the team flows, but look at what DeMar has been doing. And look at what Harrison Barnes has been doing. Let's think about where the team would be right now if you dealt with the injuries to Malik Monk, you dealt with the injuries to De'Aaron Fox, and you had Harrison Barnes instead of DeMar DeRozan. Now, that doesn't mean that the Kings had to get DeMar DeRozan when they moved on from Harrison Barnes, but that's what they did. So as far as I'm concerned, this team is better. Whatever was going on, whatever drama that will be alluded to in the future with Mike Brown, whatever is going on, you have cleansed your palate. Carmichael Dave, they were going back and forth after they broke their fast about when they can have sushi. You know, when you have sushi and you eat that little piece of ginger, that cleanses your palate before the next bite.
I skipped that.
Well, a lot of people do. My mom puts it on top of the sushi. I don't know why she does that. This is an opportunity now for the Sacramento Kings to use that palate cleanser. And then after that, you go on a 7-game winning streak. So don't break our hearts, Sacramento Kings, and don't break your own hearts. Go out there, show who you are, and take this thing to the next level. That is what we are hoping to see for the rest of the season from the Sacramento Kings. Speaking of, under Doug Christie, as we've been talking about, they're 7-2, 7-game winning streak. The first loss, I don't even like to count because Doug Christie didn't even have 24 hours to prepare. This next loss, I mean, if you look at what Doug Christie has done, right? They lose the first game against the Lakers. No, LeBron wasn't playing, but the Lakers go through those waves where they play well and then they stink. And the Lakers, they just kind of had the Kings number. They saw a wounded animal in the Sacramento Kings. Doug Christie, you know, just getting into the fold. And they beat the Sacramento Kings. They didn't even have enough time to process everything. Mike Brown gets fired. They get on the plane. They got to deal with the Los Angeles Lakers, who are scratching and clawing. Even though LeBron didn't play, let's make sure we take care of business. That was the first loss. The second loss comes after a 7-game winning streak, okay? And it was the last game of a road trip where you face the Jekyll and Hyde Bulls with Zach LaVine, who's playing out of his mind. Zach LaVine is playing so well, somebody actually might trade for him. That's how well he's been playing. And, oh, by the way, they beat the Boston Celtics reigning champs without De'Aaron Fox. Unfortunately, to end, you lose to Giannis and a hungry Bucks team, seeing that the Sacramento Kings are on a 7-game win streak. Hey, they're not going to extend that win streak in our house. We have championship blood in here. I'm Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm Dame Lillard. I don't know how many years I have left here. We're going to show who we are. And look, I know we can joke about it. In-season champion, for whatever it's worth. So those are Doug Christie's 2 losses. And you know I am not the moral victory guy. But even Allen Stiles is okay with those 2 losses. But now the real work begins, because now there are no more, it's the second game after the loss to the Bucks, and now he's 7-3. No. And you want to know why? Because of the hole that the Sacramento Kings have been in. So as much as we want to feel good about situations, I can't do anymore. 7-2, I think, and based on those 2, that is the most I can do for the moral victory thing. Past that, you lose tonight. I know the Rockets have been hot. We'll get into that during our preview in the 1 o'clock hour. The Rockets have been hot. Jalen Green has been playing out of his mind. Jalen Green's been playing so well, it might even make sense in a De'Aaron Fox trade. Kyle joked in the pre-show that Jalen Green saw he was possibly getting moved to Sacramento and decided to play like an MVP. So we'll have Kyle kind of break that one down. So there's still no excuses for me because of the hole you're in. And not just the hole you're in, you got into the hole losing to teams that you really had no business losing to. And that was unfortunately the theme that took over the Mike Brown era. It was bad losses. There were some great wins. There were some great times. But there were also some horrific, horrendous, terrible, unexplainable losses. And because of that, and because of what's left on your schedule, tonight is a night that you have to bring it. Tonight is a night, let's not forget, the Kings historically, first game from a road trip, they're basuda. They're trash. And I believe the Rockets caught them in one of those situations last season. So who do you want to be, Sacramento? Do you want to be the cute story that Sacramento has always been cute, right? Look, Whitey and Kyle always joke about me bringing up relationship stuff. And I do think it's pretty funny because I do bring it up a lot because I watch a lot of dating shows. Bachelor, Bachelorette, Love Island, Temptation Island, if they ever bring it back. Love is Blind, The Ultimatum. I watch them all, and I don't care. You can judge me. But there's something about if somebody calls you cute, it's better than being called ugly, right? But you don't want to necessarily be called cute when you're a grown man. You want to be called strapping, handsome, hot, sexy. That's what you want to be called. The Sacramento Kings these last couple years, they've never got past cute. They never got that growth spurt to where somebody says, that's a strapping young man. That is a handsome devil right there. The Sacramento Kings have been stuck in the cute zone, not the friend zone, the cute zone. So will they have that growth spurt under Mr. Doug Christie, Coach Doug Christie, to take this thing to the next level? That's what we want to know. That's what we're trying to figure out. And tonight is the first night for that. We have a lot to talk about today. That's why it's a 4-hour show. The injury update for the Sacramento Kings. What's going on with Malik Monk? I'll give you a hint. I was wrong. Okay. Malik Monk's groin and my groin are not the same. Ayo, I was wrong. All right. We'll find out about Devin Carter. Sam Amick was on the morning show. We'll talk about realistic situations for keeping De'Aaron Fox and not keeping De'Aaron Fox. And you know what? It's one of those conversations where I see texts, I see Sack Chat, I get calls. Stop talking about De'Aaron. Stop it. It's the media trying to force De'Aaron out. No, it's not. It's not the media. And for every one of you that calls in or texts in that says don't talk about it, there are at least one texter, one caller, one Sack Chatter that says, I want to talk about it. I want to talk about a future without De'Aaron. Because you know what? That's the reality. Like I keep saying, I didn't talk to Rich Paul. I'd love to. Trying to get him on the show. DMs are open. I'd love to. But I didn't start this. No other show started this on the station. No news outlet started this. All we do is report and give our opinions. That's what it is. So we can't ignore things that might happen because it makes you uncomfortable. That's not fair to all the other listeners, okay? That's what it is. Brock Purdy, there's some breakdowns from our guy, David Lombardi. Brock Purdy, 60 million plus, but maybe it's not as scary as you think. We'll discuss that. We have a segment that Kyle will love. We're getting nerdy again with B-Ball Index, all right? The most talented shooting team. Where do the Kings fall? We'll break all that down. Trissy Rodriguez joins us at 12 o'clock. You know we love talking to Tristi. She's always filled with a lot of good information. And again, like I mentioned, we have our Kings-Rockets preview. Yesterday was a bit of a Wasabi Wednesday. We had Brendan. We had Chris Watkins back in the building. Today, I want to keep the energy up. It's game day. We had to wait. I want to see the Kings take another step, and I know you do too. We're going to open up the phone lines early, but we want the good vibes, okay? We want the good vibes. And speaking of some vibes that some would be considered good, some would be considered bad. Jimmy Butler to Sacramento. This dropped towards the end of the show yesterday, so I didn't get to talk about it. We're going to talk about it in about 3 minutes. Don't move. It's the Allen Stiles Show. We got you till 2 p.m. Sacktown Sports.
My swerve in that corner. Whoa, whoa.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
And Rockets. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports 1140.
Intercepted by Fred Warner.
Faithful to the Bay.
Fred gets up and runs back the other way, 30.
Don't miss the excitement of 49ers game day. Secure your spot at Levi's Stadium for the 2025 season.
20, one block and he's in.
Season tickets are available now. Inventory is limited, so to speak with a representative, call 415-GO-49ers.
Touchdown!
That's 415-GO-49ers.
San Francisco!
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
So I told y'all I was going to the Justin Timberlake concert last night, and shout out Golden One. You know, we weren't in the front row or anything. This ain't front row styles going down, or sweet styles as I have been for other courtside styles as I've been, or sweet. You know, I've been in the suite before, but not last night. But there really isn't a bad seat in the house out there at Golden One. I actually heard Jay on the Drive Guys talking about leveling up. Did you hear that? I think it might have been earlier this week talking about, you got to get down to the 100 section. I'm like, all right, Jay.
No.
All right, and I'm gonna talk to him about that too. Jay, get out of people's pockets.
As a broke 23-year-old,
yeah,
let me tell you, living in the 200 section is great. I went to March Madness a few years ago.
Yeah.
That's great. You know why? Because tickets are like $5 to get in the door. They don't care where you sit.
Right.
Man. I bought a $5 ticket. I was sitting down in 134, hanging out with the Boise State people. It was great.
So Summer Love, that was the Justin Timberlake song. And like I said on Crosstalk, I had to leave a little bit early because we had to relieve the babysitter. We couldn't be out too late. But Summer Love was probably the one I didn't realize. Oh, yeah, this was the jam back in the day. So shout out Justin Timberlake. I mean, he was a really good show. He was very interactive with the fans. So I hope everybody, if you were there, you enjoyed yourself. A lot of other couples there doing their thing. So it was a good time. Got to kick it with Chris Watkins a little bit, and we had some food beforehand. So great stuff for everybody who got a chance to go out there. And shout out Justin Timberlake. No clue what to do with his music career, but we'll save that conversation for a different day because the dude is talented. Well, you know who else is talented, and I'm not really sure what to do with his career either, is Jimmy Butler. And we love Bobby Marks. Bobby Marks has been on the station. He's been on with the Drive guys. And Bobby Marks got in. This is how you know everybody's just fiending for a big trade, which is funny because last season there were a couple big trades. The Toronto Raptors finally got rid of OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam. But even so, everybody is fiending the big trade to happen. So much so that Bobby Marks, who really doesn't typically dip his toe into this conversation, he's dipping his toe into this conversation, and he came with a whopper. Here's what it is, if you haven't heard about it so far. And Bobby Marks is really locked in when it comes to cap space and what teams can do. So if you're wondering, does this work in the trade generator, you should be questioning that when Kyle or myself fire up a trade more so than with Bobby Marks. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to leave what the Sacramento Kings get last, all right? The Detroit Pistons get guard Kevin Huerter, forward Trey Lyles, a 2029 first-round pick swap from Sacramento. The Miami Heat get forward DeMar DeRozan, guard Tim Hardaway Jr., a 2028 first-round pick, top 4 protected, from Sacramento. And the Sacramento Kings get Jimmy Butler and Alec Burks, the bucket getter. That is the trade that had everybody talking in Kings world yesterday. So, in short, the Kings, they lose a couple first-round picks. They also lose Kevin Huerter, Trey Lyles, and they got, and DeMar DeRozan, and they get a very upset Jimmy Butler and Alec Burks. Now, we joke a lot about this thing not being NBA 2K, and that's exactly how I feel about this right here. Not in the sense to disrespect Bobby Marks or to say that he's just looking at the numbers, but I'm just looking at Jimmy Butler, the person. I can take out his availability. You know what I mean? I can take out his age and his availability, and I'll take out his price tag right now. I don't want a disgruntled Jimmy Butler on the Sacramento Kings. That's the last thing I want. Jimmy, at one point, he said he could play for anybody. First, he said there were 3 teams, right? Or maybe even 4. It was the Mavericks, the Warriors, the Rockets, and there might have been one more, but it was the Suns, right? Then the agent says, no, we never said that. And then a couple weeks later, they request a trade, and Jimmy says, I can play for anyone. Then by the time everyone is done reading that article, it comes back out that Jimmy, based on the contract, won't sign with anybody that trades for him besides the Phoenix Suns. So this is insanity. This is insanity. And I'm not even, especially because what's funny to me, and maybe this is disrespectful to Jimmy because of his defense, but I feel like DeMar DeRozan is kind of a diet Jimmy Butler anyway, and you're not paying him. If you're asking me who do I want, right? Alec Burks and Jimmy Butler versus DeMar DeRozan, Trey Lyles, and Kevin Huerter and those picks, there is no way, and maybe I'm the wrong person for this because I'm not a Jimmy Butler guy, and I should be. He's a JUCO dude, and he's a great story. Let me separate that. Great story, Jimmy Butler. But I couldn't be more out on this situation. I couldn't be more out on this trade.
Well, I think I'm out for different reasons than you are. It's not for the excellence of the player that Jimmy Butler is. Jimmy Butler is still, to this day, I would argue, one of the best postseason basketball players of our lifetime. Like, if you look at the stats of Jimmy Butler in the playoffs for the Miami Heat, those runs are some of the great postseason runs ever. Right. So I think the first round series against the Bucks when they were the 8 seed, he had like the highest net value of any player other than Michael Jordan in playoff history. And so I give Jimmy Butler that respect and say at any age, I believe he will deliver productive basketball until the day he cannot play basketball anymore. However, it makes no sense for the Sacramento Kings team. He's not part of your long-term future for the team. Trading multiple pieces of your core to acquire him doesn't necessarily make you better in the short term. It's a team altering trade, and it's going to take a while for them to figure out how to play with each other. So it makes zero sense for them to trade for Jimmy Butler. However, the thought of it is fun and interesting because of how excellent of a player Jimmy Butler is and how much of a calamity it would be if he ended up coming to Sacramento.
This is not fun nor interesting to me, Kyle. Okay.
Well, this is the thing. I have a little bit of a fanarchist tendency in me, and sometimes I just like the idea of watching the whole world burn at times. So watching the circus would be excellent.
No, thank you. Ringling Brothers. I'll do that on my own time, or I'll go to, I don't know if Circus is still open in Vegas. Kyle, let's hear what Sam Amick had to say just as far as the Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley saga, just because I know there's some people out there that do like Jimmy Butler. Here it is.
Yeah, the Jimmy and Pat Riley standoff is heating up. Today is officially the first day that he's back. Jimmy's back off the suspension. They play Denver tomorrow, and I wrote this in a previous column, like, the irony of that matchup is not lost on me. It was only a couple years ago that, Jimmy was leading an undermanned Miami team to the finals against Denver, kind of showing him at his best. And really, I said this to one of my colleagues yesterday. I'm curious if you guys think it's a hot take. And this is our guy, Eric Name, who covers the Bucks. I said, if you talk about this generation of players in the Eastern Conference, to me, it's not really even close. Like, nobody has done more with less than Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
That doesn't make him the best player by any means of this generation in the Eastern Conference. The guy on the Bucks would have something to say about that. But like, I think my point is, and what makes this situation so interesting is that even though he is 35, I do think deep down, if he was able to lock in and really commit to whatever next team he's on, that we could be talking about Jimmy's team deep in the playoffs again and marveling at his ability to do what he does. But right now, the question is, what is Pat Riley going to do? Is he going to find a deal before the deadline? Is he going to put Jimmy on the floor? That's the first thing. I reported yesterday that, Jimmy does plan on clocking in and showing up because he's already lost $2.3 million and doesn't want to lose any more. But, what happens from that point on is somewhat unclear.
That was Sam Amick this morning on with Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross. And here's my issue amongst everything else with Jimmy. From 2021 on, the guy has played 52 games, 57 games, 64 games. And last season he played 60. You're paying $50 million for that. And he don't want to be here. So to me, love Bobby Marks, think he does great work, but that's a no-go. That's a do not pass go and collect 200 for Allen Stiles.
But you're paying for playoff Jimmy, baby, because that's the thing. You might be paying him $50 million for 50 regular season games, but you get him in the playoffs for free.
This team got to get to the playoffs.
But you know who's
not going to get to the playoffs without Jimmy playing.
Well, you know who's going to be there ready for him as the 8 seed? Playoff Jimmy, baby. Playoff Jimmy's taken an 8 seed to the finals before. He can do it again in Sacramento.
That Eastern Conference team, we never even get that Jimmy Butler story. I'd have to compare the records, but I'm fairly sure I can just wing this one. That Eastern Conference Jimmy Butler team, if they're in the West, there's no Jimmy Butler story because they don't make the playoffs.
That was, I don't think that's true because that was the year the Kings were the 3 seed with like 48 wins.
So it was that down season.
Yeah.
It was that down season.
I'll look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure they might have even been a higher seed in the West that year. Let's see. They were 44 and 38. That would have been good for tied for 6th in the West.
Yeah. Well, he's still not doing it. All right. He's still not doing it. And I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the trade. But hey, at least it wasn't Cam Johnson or Kyle Kuzma. All right, so I like thinking outside the box. That's just not the box that I want to be in. Let's continue on the other side. Sam Amick, like I said on the morning show. Now, this gets a little interesting. There have been rumblings about the future of Doug Christie as far as how long the Kings front office and ownership wanted him to be in this position. Was Mike Brown someone that saw the writing on the wall? How would you feel if there was somebody looking over your shoulder? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Rockets. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Thursday. Getting out the door to a chilly start. Make sure you've got those layers ready to go. For the afternoon, expect mostly sunny skies, light winds, and highs today in the lower to mid-60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Elk Grove Honda reports that Honda has earned 3 coveted 2025 Car and Driver 10 Best Awards for the 3rd year in a row, honoring Honda Civic, Accord, and CRV. We're Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? It seems impossible to find them. Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
This year, resolve to save on the all-new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. With $8,000 off MSRP after rebates on over 30 new half-ton Silverado LT and RST. After rebates. And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area. $8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big. Huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers based on 2011 or newer Chevrolet.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Coach Doug Christie here for your truck headquarters, Folsom Lake Ford. Shop all your favorite models on sale now, like America's best-selling F-Series. Check out a huge selection of Mavericks, F-150s, and Super Duty trucks, or tech-filled SUVs like Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports, all in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Right now, buy any new Ford with 0 down on approval of credit. Save big with low interest finance rates. And Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, a 6-time Triple Crown winner for sales and service excellence. That's why they are my trusted dealer, and they should be yours too. For 35 years and counting, come down and take a test drive today. Tell them Coach Doug Christie sent you, or shop online at FolsomLakeFord.com.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Why did you want this song again?
It's just you and me. That's Doug Christie and the Sacramento Kings. Little Throwback Thursday action for you, Marquis Basie and the Bay Boy himself, G-Eazy. Thank you, Kyle. Any Throwback Thursday song requests, Kyle has gotcha. This was it. What was this? 2011, 2010, something like that.
That's when G-Eazy was popular. So probably
G-Eazy, Berkeley's finest. That was my guy.
There's a very specific period of time in my mind. It's like 2009 to 2012 is like where I think of G-Eazy being popular.
I'll never forget going to Outside Lands and trying to ride for G-Eazy because, you know, Bay Area guy, and my little sister showed up. So we're watching G-Eazy together, and she just looks at me and says, "This is terrible. Like, this is actually bad." From the lyrics standpoint, then she kind of ruined my G-Eazy experience moving forward. Just great stuff and great memories. All right.
I love the joke that G-Eazy is kind of in the Ty Dolla $ign category of he's only good when it's featuring G-Eazy.
Yes.
If it's his track, it's terrible. If
That's
it's
right.
Charlie Puth featuring G-Eazy.
It's fire. 916 says, nice song request, Styles. Chris from Orangevale. Thank you, Chris. It was great times. It was great times. And there have been great times with Doug Christie so far. And Sam Amick was on the morning show to talk about the fact that this has been in the making. Okay, let's not play ourselves as far as, oh, they just happened to find Doug Christie. You know, there were a lot of conversations about Doug Christie being added to the coaching staff when Mike Brown got hired. And there was something always brewing here, and Sam spoke on it on the morning show. Here it is.
I will say, even from the last time that we all talked and visited, one thing that has been crystallized even more is that this organization wanted Doug Christie to be the coach a while ago. You know, like that's one of the uncomfortable truths. And I say uncomfortable just because, you know, I'm sure Mike Brown feels some kind of way about that reality. So it feels like they would love nothing more than for him to do enough to justify him being the coach.
Yeah. All right, Chris, apologies. I know we have to break. Sam, apologies. And audience, apologies. I'm not doing my job if I don't. Could you expand on what you meant? I don't want to make this a bigger deal than it is, but could you expand just a little bit on this franchise wanting Doug to be the head coach for a while now? Because honestly, I mean, we just kind of rolled through that, but that's actually a pretty profound statement, I think, Sam, for a lot of people to hear.
I mean, so around the league, a lot of times the way our industry works is there are conversations and chatter that gets around to other teams that is not immediately shared with media, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when the event happens, like the coaching change, then you find out like retroactively, like, oh, by the way, I didn't tell you at the time, but yeah, we've been hearing this since November. We've been hearing this, like Doug's name being whispered around the league in Sacramento. So there's that component. But to go back even farther, this part is just objectively fair to highlight, and it's not even criticizing, but it is not all that normal to have, like, the fact that Doug has been on several coaching staffs within the same organization without a personal tie to any of the head coaches kind of tells you everything you need to know. He is somebody who was put upon these coaches, and they would meet in the middle and say, all right, yeah, Doug's a good guy, let's go. He's part of the group. And that's from Luke Walton until now. And so, you know, and we know the backstory. Like, that's when they made that coaching change, Doug was a legitimate candidate at that time. And really the only reason it didn't happen then was because the new front office, you know, my interpretation was it was being assertive and saying, like, we're trying to do our jobs, and that's not the person who we would pick at that time. So, you know, that's just the backstory tells you a lot. That's all. There's like a tinge of, yes, I know I sound like I'm being critical, but there is also a reality that I'll be fair and acknowledge, like the like pro sports, the NBA, like this stuff's not wildly unique.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Like Pat Riley was a damn broadcaster who just got pulled down to the court. You know, like there's in personal connections oftentimes do impact, you know, kind of the way certain things go. So not trying to act like, you know, this is the end of the world,
sure.
but it's not, you know, it's something that I think is fair to contextualize.
I think this is really, really fascinating from the standpoint of, first, Sam he's kind of hedging his bet a little bit. First, Sam is saying that it is kind of a big deal, but then he says we've seen stuff like this before. I think the biggest deal or the biggest part of it is the fact that it was multiple coaching staffs. That's where I think Sam says, yeah, it is a little bit unique. And, you know, on the other side of it, for the Kings to then go to Doug Christie as soon as Mike Brown gets, you know, they move off of Mike Brown. Yeah, but does Mike feel some type of way? Probably, but again, as De'Aaron said, so you know, so clearly Mike Brown is getting cashed out, you know, so hey, yeah, we had somebody that we kind of always wanted, but we were still willing to give you a chance, and we're still willing to pay you $20 to $30 million. So let's let bygones be bygones there.
I remember reading in a story, and I think it actually was a Sam Amick story from a while back, that when Alvin Gentry was the interim coach and they were thinking Alvin might get the full-time position, Vivek needed some sort of negotiating leverage against Alvin. And he brought up the point that he said, I think Doug could be the head coach right now. And it was kind of like Alvin versus Doug in terms of who was maybe going to be the coach. And ultimately Alvin ended up becoming part of the front office and having a role with the organization after coaching. But this has been something that's kind of been known, but it's interesting to hear Sam put so eloquently, like, yeah, when they got rid of Luke Walton, Doug was someone they very much considered. And at the time, Monty and Wes in the front office, who are making their first coaching hire, are saying, this is the direction we want to go. Believe in you've hired us to do this job. This is the direction we want to go. Because we also know Mark Jackson was interviewing for the job also. And so there were all sorts of different names thrown around. And ultimately they landed on the person that the GM wanted to hire. It's just interesting to kind of hear that process now, 3 years later, where it's Mike's getting fired, and we'll do that under the condition of Doug is going to go from being fourth guy on the bench to interim head coach.
Yeah, I think that and a lot of people are chiming in on the text line in the SAC chat. I think the biggest part of this is, it kind of reminds me of a quarterback situation, right? Was there any conversation? There clearly wasn't, but if I'm not mistaken, Mike Brown has even said, you know, I'm not going to be here for 15 years or whatever it is. So you see the writing on the wall, but you also hope that the person gets a fair shake. Again, maybe the fair shake doesn't matter when the contracts are guaranteed, to where it's, could we have given you enough? Did we get rid of you kind of early? Yeah, but we're still going to pay you as if we didn't. So that there's nothing wrong. That's how they're okaying this or formalizing it in their mind, to be like, this is this is fine. We're paying him.
And he got his extension anyways.
Exactly.
We just think this is the best thing for the organization, because I know the Kings are doing really well right now, and a lot of people have capitulated on the bagging of the firing on Mike Brown, but that was a really big deal when that happened. Like, the decision to fire the reigning coach of the year within 18 months of winning coach of the year, like, that's a really, really big deal that they made. And so it's interesting to not see that this was in the works from the beginning, but just know that this is the person that maybe people in charge at the very highest levels of the organization, business ops, Vivek on down. It's like they had kind of in their minds the idea of they could envision Doug being the head coach one day, even if it wasn't when they hired the Mike Brown in 2022. Right. They, even before then, envisioned that one day Doug could be the head coach of the team.
A lot of people chiming in. We will get to your calls, text, Sack Chat to have this discussion. 11 o'clock. Let's give Doug Christie a grade so far. And is there any world where he doesn't become the head coach full-time? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Rockets. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
It's time to turn up the volume on live entertainment. Check out the Sacktown Sports live events calendar for the hottest events and shows coming your way. On February 18th, catch the incredible Miles Kennedy at Ace of Spades. His powerful vocals and raw talent will leave you speechless. Then gear up for an adrenaline-packed night with a Thunder Showdown boxing event at Thunder Valley on March 8th. Who will come out on top in the ring? Be there to find out. On March 9th, don't miss the legendary John Oates live at the Crest Theater, bringing you iconic hits and timeless melodies. If you're a country fan, mark your calendar for March 16th, when Alexandra Kay brings her heartfelt songs to Ace of Spades for an unforgettable evening. And on March 29th, get ready to rock the night away as Papa Roach and Rise Against take over the Golden One Center with an electrifying performance. Don't miss these amazing events. For more information and your chance to win tickets, head to SacktownSports.com. Sacktown Sports, your front row seat to the Sacramento area's best live entertainment.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/radio and use code radio for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/radio and use code radio at checkout.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This 49er Injury Report is brought to you by Jeremy Winter, attorney at law. He cares because he's been there. After an injury-plagued 2024 season, which ended 6-11 and out of the playoffs, the 49ers will focus on getting healthy in the offseason. Running backs Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, and Isaac Guerrero all suffered season-ending injuries. Left tackle Trent Williams' ankle kept him out late in the year, and Brock Purdy missed the season finale with a hurt elbow. 49ers hope to enter 2025 with a full roster back intact.
Serious accident. You deserve the law offices of Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237. Jeremy lost his mother in a car accident and knows firsthand the pain caused by tragedy. That is why he became an attorney to fight for others who are going through a tragedy. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, you deserve more. You deserve better. You deserve Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's going on, Chad, for the Start Something New sales event?
We're going all out with the most savings I've seen on new Ram heavy duties in a long time. Right now, you can save up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 2500 Rebel Crew Cabs.
$16,000 off MSRP on heavy duties? That doesn't happen often.
That's why we've been California's #1 Ram truck dealer year after year. Some call themselves the Super Ram Truck Center, but when you need a hard-to-find Ram heavy duty, Hoblet has it with over 400 new Ram trucks available.
See their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$16,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 2500 Rebel after $6,500 factory rebates and $9,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $3,000 Hoblet Select coupons while supplies last. $500 on the job upfit. Must show business and upfit docs. And up to $2,000 Hoblet trade-in assistance for 2005 or newer and 160,000 mile or less vehicle. While supplies last, not everyone will qualify for all rebates. To with this net savings, VINs 1-866-247-186-248. See dealer for details.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Waiting in the wings. You know, it is really interesting. 11 o'clock, we're going to evaluate Doug Christie so far, give him a grade, and try to entertain a world where Doug Christie isn't the head coach next season. I personally can't see it. But maybe there's a world. We were discussing, if you're just now joining us, thank you for joining us. Allen Stiles Show. Kyle Ledbetter behind the glass, taking up to 2 p.m. Huge game tonight for the Sacramento Kings as they take on the Houston Rockets, who have been pretty darn hot. We have our preview coming up at 1 o'clock. Prop talk as well. You know, my props on the show have been great. It's the other pieces that have been struggling, but we try to get you some cheese as it's going to be payday tomorrow for some people, but if not, we'll try to get you paid in a different way. You know, as we were replaying what Sam Amick had to say on the morning show with Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross, you can check that out on YouTube and the Sacktown Sports app. Basically, the idea that Doug Christie, there were rumblings that Doug Christie was always going to be the guy, or that internally, they really like Doug Christie at some point to be the head coach, and whether or not, and I try not to use the word fair when we talk sports and just life in general. It ain't fair. And I would love for somebody to be unfair to me and give me $20-30 million. So we understand all that. But, you know, as we're having the conversation, someone on the Sack Chat, Azalea, Sack Chat, our YouTube, if you haven't been a part of it, hop on in when you get out of your car. Azalea says, there's always someone waiting in the wings. Goes on to say, welcome to life and every job you've had. And I don't know that I completely agree with that, right? Because you have a job. I do agree, and you know I agree with the fact that everybody is replaceable, right? I don't think that anyone is irreplaceable in any job. I mean, maybe I will say 5% of all jobs in the world are irreplaceable. We can't replace this person. Maybe 10%, maybe. But that other 90%, any job, doesn't matter, myself included, replaceable, right? So we get all that. It's just the idea of giving an extension while that person that they're hoping to eventually replace you with is right behind you. That's what I think is a little bit different than everyday life. The idea that somebody is always looking to improve if you slip up, I think that's completely fair, right? That's just what it is. There's been situations for me where I was center field, right? And look, center field is a premium position. There were times where I played center field pretty well. There were times where I didn't. And because of that, the first chance coaches got, a shiny new toy, and I'll be honest, I'm always honest on this show. Senior year, I started in center field. Senior year to end, Temple University, I was in left field. You want to know why? Because I believe I think he might have been a freshman. A freshman came in named Jimmy Kerrigan. And Jimmy Kerrigan came in, and Jimmy Kerrigan ended up being pretty nasty. So you know what the coach said to me? Allen, we were playing Virginia Tech. Allen, We want to see something. We just want to see something real quick. Oh, they saw something all right. And I did not see center field for the rest of my college career. Now, lucky for me, as Kyle's looking up Jimmy Kerrigan's stats, Jimmy did go to AA. He didn't play in AA.
That is exactly what I'm doing right now. You nailed that exactly right.
I know. He's still playing.
Yeah.
He's still playing.
He's in the Mexican Independent League now.
There you go. But he had he's still playing, but got all the way to AA, so I don't feel as bad. So everybody,
he made it to AAA.
He made it to triple, even better for me.
Yeah,
now I feel even better.
To the St. Paul Saints.
There you go.
AAA for the Minnesota Twins.
Shout out Jimmy Kerrigan. I call him Shimmy Jimmy because he would do a little shimmy before he would hit a home run. So everybody is always looking for something better. There's something obvious about that. And I do think it's pretty interesting to compare it to college athletics specifically because you're always recruiting, right? So they're looking, saying, okay, this is what our outfield looks like. Allen is a fine center fielder, but maybe we can find somebody that can do it at a higher level. Did they know that this kid would be ready freshman year? Probably not, but they had to make a decision. So they weren't necessarily getting somebody to replace me, but that's just how it ended up happening. I think the difference here is you have somebody in Doug Christie who made it through multiple coaching changes. So it was clear, hey, at some point, Mike Brown knew at some point, I believe what I'm taking away from this situation with Sam Amick is that at some point, Doug Christie was going to be the head coach. And if you're Mike Brown and you know that, yeah, pressure make diamonds, we get it. But maybe it was, okay, well, what was it, a 2-3 year extension? At the end of that 3-year extension, are they going to extend me again? So I believe that the reason maybe internally, and maybe this goes to the lack of, we didn't even get to play. You talk about and I've got to be careful here, but you talk about sliding something under the radar. We haven't even talked about the Monty McNair, Mark Jones conversation. And you want to know why? Because it got snuck in on a Friday night.
That is a capital F Friday news dump.
They snuck that in. I literally was driving home after the show and Whitey brought it up. It might have been earlier this week. And I thought, oh yeah, 2 games later, a weekend later. And what's there to really talk about?
They knew exactly what they were doing with that. They slid that in there on a
and look, that's how they get down. That's how they get down.
It was also a Boston game, so it aired at like 4:00 West Coast time also, so very few people even saw it.
Yeah, so that's what they did there. But as far as Mike Brown and how this whole thing came to be, I do think it is slightly different than the typical everybody is replaceable. I guess we could have the conversation fair or foul if we want. I don't feel like it's foul, but I I hate using the word fair. So I'm really stuck in the middle. And I hate to be a fence sitter, but I can understand why somebody would say, hey, them's the breaks. If Mike Brown, if they didn't lose games, we're not having this conversation. On the other side, it is, to Sam Amick's point, a bit of a unique situation where it's literally this guy has been just kind of hanging around. Or you're essentially getting your replacement ready. They keep putting him in situations, and it's, hey, once he's ready, we're willing to pay. And it's to the point now where, okay, well, you're not doing what we want. You're not producing the way we want to produce. So we're just going to accelerate this process. So fair or foul, I guess everybody's going to have their opinion. I thought it was some great stuff from Sam Amick, and you can check out that whole interview on YouTube and on the Sacktown Sports app.
And also shout out Jimmy Kerrigan.
And shout out Jimmy Kerrigan in the Mexican League
for the AA King County Cougars.
The guy can hit, and and you know what's funny about this whole conversation? My guess is that Jimmy Kerrigan is probably no longer a center fielder because there's always somebody out there that's better. I hope he is, because that would make me feel better about it.
Unfortunately, baseballreference.com does not do positions for Mexican Independent League Baseball.
There you go. Life is about next up. And if you're not producing, we will find somebody that will. Well, Doug Christie has been producing. Let's give him a grade. I want to hear your grade for Doug Christie. 916-339-1140. Let's open up the phone lines And the text line's always open, and the Sack Chat going crazy right now. Shout out to the Sack Chat. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave coming to you from my good friends at American Energy. Look, it's already cold outside. It's only going to get colder. American Energy wants to help you stay warm and make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of the $49 tune-up inspection. Normally $119, $49 right now, and that includes a full safety and duct inspection. And check it out. If your system's over 10 years old, and I'll bet it is, the tune-up, yeah, it's free. It's free from a company that's been in business since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ Better Business Bureau. Check their Yelp, check their Google reviews. Don't take my word for it. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. If you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Check them out at theaeway.com and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Elk Grove Honda reports that Honda has earned 3 coveted 2025 Car and Driver 10 Best Awards for the 3rd year in a row, honoring the Honda Civic, Honda Accord, and Honda CR-V. Honda Accord wins for a record 39th time. You can see and drive all the new 2025 award-winning models at Elk Grove Honda and see why Honda cars and trucks continue to impress the critics. We are Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
California's largest Sportsman's Expo is back Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Find a huge selection of fishing boats, kayaks, and side-by-sides. New this time, nearly 50,000 square feet of RVs and campers. And check out the all-new, fully redesigned Toyota Land Cruiser. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Welcome to Staples.
I am so pumped. My business is going to kill it this year.
Awesome. How can I help?
First, a new computer.
With Staples Home and Office Hot Deals, you save big on tech.
And new posters.
Save on custom printing, too.
And,
a new chair?
A chair. Who has time to sit?
Maybe all your new clients?
Now you're talking.
With Staples Home and Office Hot Deals, you'll find huge savings on custom prints, storage, chairs, and tech. And now save up to $175 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 2/1.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? It seems impossible to find them. Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TOUCHDOWN for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TOUCHDOWN for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TOUCHDOWN.
Celebrate the new year in style with a new Honda from Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. With over over 500 new Hondas in stock and ready to go. Now is the time to save on your favorite Honda in person or online. CRV, HRV, Pilot, Accord, Civic, and Ridgeline. It's a new year with endless possibilities. Get the deals that make it easy to say yes at Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Shop Big O Tires now through January 26th and get $80 to $100 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Cooper, Nexen, Nitto, or Sumitomo brand tires. Installation purchase required. Disposal fees extra. Not valid with other offers. See your locally owned Big O Tires dealer for details.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sacktown Sports 1140. Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
About to give out grades for Doug Christie. We want to see and hear your grades too. Put them on the text line, 916-329-1140. Call in. Sack chat as well. By the way, RIP Bob Uecker, Hall of Fame broadcaster, and somebody that, you know, from everything he's done in actual broadcasting to being a part of movies like Major League, he will be missed for sure. RIP Bob Uecker.
In honor of Bob Uecker, I think I might watch Major League for the first time in my life.
That would be good, Kyle. That would be good. That would help you.
I've seen the famous clips of the just a bit outside and the guy who hits the home run and he says, "Oh, bleep," but he doesn't say bleep. He says the actual word.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen those clips before, but I have not seen the actual movie.
When you watch it, I think you will see some. If you've never watched me play before, obviously you haven't. I got some highlights on YouTube, but obviously you haven't. Willie Mays Hayes. That's all you got to know. Willie Mays Hayes. All right.
Is that the character who's the Allstate insurance guy?
No.
That's a different one.
Yes. 916-339-1140. We are giving out grades for Doug Christie so far. And also, is there a world where Doug Christie isn't the head coach after this season? I mean, even if it goes terribly, doesn't he have an out because of how he was thrown into it and everything that we know? We just spent 30 minutes about how this has ultimately been the long-term plan for the Kings, and now it's finally being put into effect. 916 says, I kind of wanted to hear Sam's thoughts on the Monty interview. Haven't heard what you guys think about it. It rubbed me the wrong way. Seems like he was trying to sell Doug to us. I was thinking, I feel like I know Doug better than Monty. Dang, that Kings PTSD is something. That's from the 916. Yeah, I would say this, 916. I'm not going to speak for Sam Amick. I don't know how many thoughts he would have on the Monty McNair interview, because it was just a kind of classic, and I hate to say a classic Monty McNair interview. Certain GMs at some time, you know, they'll be quote unquote real, but most of it is word salad. That's what it is, and I think that's what you're feeling. That's no disrespect to Monty McNair. That's just what they do, and you know, whether it's stuff he said about Doug or stuff he said about Mike Brown, it's just I could probably, you could find somebody that didn't watch the interview if they follow the Kings, and they could probably guess what Monty McNair said, and they'd probably be right, and that's just the reality. So I haven't spent, like I said, I forgot it happened. It was 2 games ago. I forgot it happened. They slid it in a pregame. There's some people probably listening that don't even know that it happened, but I believe it's on their YouTube. And, you know, he says all the typical things. We believe in Doug and we're trying to move in the right direction. And we're thankful for what Mike Brown did. Like I said, though, you know, I don't know if Kyle probably not. And Kyle, you're getting roasted on the text line about what movies have you watched. But I don't know if Spark Notes was still around in your day. But Spark Notes, that's when you didn't feel like reading the whole book. You would go to sparknotes.com and they would have it for you. But
oh yeah, it was around.
There you go. The Spark Notes version is everything I kind of just said. That's just what it is. All right. As we give grades for Doug Christie, and then we hear from you as far as what grades you are giving Doug Christie? And is there a world where Doug Christie isn't the head coach? I mean, I really don't know what would have to happen. Kyle, what's your grade for Doug Christie?
I would give Doug Christie an A, and I think that's a matter of expectations. I mean, I thought they were absolutely just punting on the season, which was frustrating at the time, and now I look at it like, okay, they're in a, like you talked about yesterday, they're back in the race at this point, and so I'm curious to see where they go from here or why they won the 7-game win streak, but I mean, come on. They just had the longest winning streak since the Beam Team season in basically Doug's first 7 games. No matter how they got there, he deserves credit above and beyond. I mean, it's been a remarkable job. So I think based on where the expectations were, I would give it an A, because if Mike had been allowed to keep the job and he would have ran off a 7-game win streak to get back to 20-20, I don't think people would be giving him an A, but because Doug is jumping in a complete interim basis, didn't know 24 hours before he got the job he was going to get the job, and then had to coach the Laker game. Like, yeah, given the circumstances, A, totally, all the way on down.
Yeah, I would say it's an A, and you know, it's not even really close. I don't even know if it's a fight, but it's A or A plus, right? I mean, what else can you say? The first loss, he didn't even have 24 hours to prepare. The second loss was after a 7-game win streak, and it was the boss, or the Bucks, or not the boss. They look like the boss against the Kings. It wasn't even as if it was against a lesser team that they shouldn't have lost to. So the bad loss wasn't even really a bad loss. So easily an A plus if you do that sort of thing. But yeah, it's an easy one to me. It's an A. Will it be an A by the end of the season? I don't know. I feel like a lot starts now, right? I feel like a lot of the Doug Christie evaluation starts now. We'll still obviously include the 7-game win streak, but now you are having some expectations. Now you're in the mix. Now you're in a position to take the team somewhere they haven't been since the Beam Team season, and somewhere that they've only been once in over a decade. So if we're evaluating Doug, I think that obviously the 7-game win streak is outstanding, but I'm now willing to maybe move forward. Still going to be part of his final grade, if you will, but I want to see what happens next with Doug. 916-339-1140. We're talking Doug Christie. His grade so far, and is there a world where he isn't the coach? Right now, I can't see it. Let's talk to Tim, wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Tim? What you got for us?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I want to give Doug an A, but because goals haven't been reached yet, I'm going to kick it back to a B.
Okay.
And I just want to say, you know, I've been a Kings fan since 1985. I was an original season ticket holder in the old building, the original building. And I'm not the person that's very critical of the team. I just love the Kings, and the only two things I know is that I hate the Lakers and that I guess I'm built to suffer. But I love Doug. He's the only player that I've actually had any interaction with because he was on the radio, and I got to call like I am now, and I got to talk to a legend. And so I feel very close to Doug. Got his bobblehead, and I'm just very excited for the team. I know he wants to get us somewhere, and I want him to take us to the promised land. That's really all I got to say, is how much I love the Kings and how much I guess I love to suffer.
There you go. That's all you got to say, Tim. Great stuff. Appreciate it. We love all of the Kings fans, whether you are new or you've been rooting for the Kings. And again, I think that also goes to the conversation that we're having about Doug Christie after this. Like in my estimation, I know that just like in everything else, I believe legally you got to open the job, right? And I know the Niners just got in trouble for that, for the offensive coordinator position. You can't just promote someone. You have to open the job and give people an opportunity, even if you know what you're going to do. And that's what I feel like with Doug. I mean, I'm willing to say the Kings could go completely south again and miss the playoffs and be the 12th seed. and they would still move forward with Doug because, number one, you would say, well, he was an interim guy and we haven't given him an opportunity to have a full offseason. And number two, we knew that this, especially if the Kings don't make a move. If the Kings don't make a move, then it's going to be, this is the same roster conversation. Doug did more than Mike Brown did with the same roster, just based on this 7-game win streak. And then you throw in guys like Tim and what he had to say about the connection that Doug has to the fan base. I do not see a world. I don't know who would have to be available on top of Doug not performing or the team not performing to where they even look in a different direction.
I will give you one stat that proves not only Doug Christie deserves an A for his job, but it also might be hard right now to go in any other direction. I have the highest winning percentage among NBA coaches in NBA history with a minimum of 1 game coached.
All right.
Tied for 9th, we have a tie between Bill Burtka, Bob Pettit, and Dick Fitzgerald, who all went 2-1 as head coach. Then we have Casey Jones, legendary coach of the Celtics, 8. David Blatt, the coach of the Cavs for like a season and a half, 7. Huh?
And he got canned.
Oh, he got canned too. Number 6, Adrian Griffin.
He got canned.
He got canned. Number 5, Larry Bird, who was a very good coach. He just hated coaching. And so Larry Bird won Coach of the Year and then quit because he hated coaching so much. Number 4, Billy Cunningham. Number 3, Phil Jackson. Number 2, Joe Mazzulla. Number 1 all-time greatest winning percentage in NBA history, Doug Christie. Doug Christie, of any coach that has ever coached in the history of basketball, Doug Christie currently has the best winning percentage in NBA history.
So there's just no coaches out there that are just 1-0.
Nope.
Not even in an interim situation.
Well, no, because interim. Remember the Luke Walton, Steve Kerr thing?
Right.
Those were Steve Kerr's wins. Even though Luke Walton was coaching, they counted as Steve Kerr's wins
because Steve Kerr wasn't removed.
Yes, if a coach gets ejected from a game, that coach still gets the win.
Right.
It's weird. But anyways, yes, Doug Christie is the winningest coach in NBA history.
Wow.
Number 1. Does any other context matter?
No.
I would say no.
Not right now.
No. He's the greatest coach in NBA history. Better than Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
Better than Greg Popovich. Better than Jerry Sloan. The greatest winning percentage of any coach.
Let's get to some of your calls on the other side. What grade are you giving Doug Christie? And is there any type of world that you see where Doug Christie isn't the head coach next season? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Tonight, Kings and Rockets. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports 1140.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-889-5566, 800-889-5566, 800-889-5566.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team. Sacktown Sports.
The pursuit of happiness. We're going to have everyone's clamoring for De'Aaron Fox conversation. And I heard Kyle Draper. He was very upset with Kings fans about wanting to get De'Aaron Fox out of Sacramento. He also said that De'Aaron Fox needs to play at a all-star level. Oh, yeah, Drapes, I'll be listening. I got to listen. So we're going to have a De'Aaron Fox conversation. we are wrapping up this Doug Christie conversation in the grade that you would give him. And is there a world where he doesn't get it? I mean, I truly believe there is nothing that could happen. I mean, nothing realistic that could happen. Obviously, if there is more locker room drama, but I'm just saying from a win-loss perspective, there is nothing that could happen. I just don't see it. Too much of a connection. You know, they've been literally. You could look at this as a prospect situation. We were talking about how Sam Amick mentioned that this has been in the works for a while. As far as Doug Christie being the head coach, this is an investment. You could argue they've invested in Doug Christie, so you're not going to move on from him even if things don't go so well in his first year as an interim coach. He will at least get 1 year. That's just how I see it.
During the roundtable yesterday, Brennan kind of was the same thing. It's like he's the leader in the clubhouse, but I'm sure they'll have an open coaching search, right?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
In March, are we going to get the word that he just got the job? Because that's what Boston did. Boston had Joe Mazzulla replace Ime Udoka, obviously under different circumstances, but in like February, they were like, he's the full-time coach and here's the job. We're not even going to open it up. It's like, he's the coach. Here's his full-time contract.
Which they could do as well.
That's what I was saying.
But again, that's based on how this season goes. If the season doesn't go well, they will at least look around. I still think it will be Doug Christie. If they sneak into the playoffs, then they won't even open it. I don't even know if they open it if they get into the play-in.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I think you might be right. And we might go through some of those numbers later of what win total they have to get to. But how can you replace right now the winningest coach in NBA history?
You can't do that. 916-339-1140. Let's get to the phone line. Some of our favorites. Let's start with Ashley, who wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Ashley? What you got for us?
Not a whole lot. As far as do I think it's possible if Doug will not keep the job? First, I'm going to say I highly doubt that he will not keep the job. But, you know, barring a situation where, like, if we were to keep Fox, you know, and we were to somehow be healthy and just lose every game the rest of the season, which I don't see a way that happens, then of course we would get rid of him at that point. But I don't see a world in which that happens. And as far as a grade for Doug, I have to give him an A+ personally. I think he's done a great job with this team. And like I said, I don't see a world where he crashes and burns. I've actually met him a couple times, not just through calling 1140, but actually Mike Bibby's kid went to my school. And so I met Bibby and some of the other players from that team. And from what I've met, when I met him, I see no world where he lets this team fall off the path that's on right now.
Thanks for the call, Ashley. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're kind of talking about. Realistic. There's no way they lose every single game. And even if I think it's just beyond the X's and O's, and it's beyond the fact that, you know, they could miss the playoffs. I think it would have to be something internal that I just do not see happening. But it's still early, and, you know, things can change. I mean, look, a 7-game winning streak makes everybody feel good. I think that tonight is such a huge game. You know, we talk about a checklist with Doug Christie, and he's checked off a lot of boxes. He's ticked off a lot of boxes so far. Another one has been coming back from a legit road trip like the Kings have just been on. Last season, this game is a loss. And it's not just a loss, because I know I don't do the moral victory thing, but it's not just a loss. It's an ugly loss. So you got to come back. You got to compete. We'll talk about what the Rockets have been doing. And the Rockets, they got something for the Sacramento Kings based on that last win and players getting ejected. So this is a huge night for the Kings. Expectations are huge. And we know typically that has not been a good sign, or it has not gone well for the Kings. And it's Hello Kitty night. So we got to keep that in mind as well. You know, those theme nights, they always scare me. 916-339-1140. Let's get to TC, wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Alan, what's up, bro?
Hey, how you doing?
All right. Hey, check it out, though. Look, hey, Doug get an easy A. That's an easy A for me, man. How he galvanized the team, took over the team, and was ready. How he can relate from the fan base and just let these guys know That's what it was. Nothing against Mike. Love Mike and all that, man. But just, it's Doug's time. And Doug can relate to the players like, look, that like DeRozan showed the guys his tape. They said, man, look, Doug, like, man, I'm not just telling y'all something. I know everything that y'all going through, bro. So I know what you asking from me, and I'm in the field with you. And they respect that, bro. So I give him an easy A. If he wouldn't respect it, bro, it'd be an F if the team was losing. They was like, man, Doug, you playing. The team respect Doug. That's why I say this season is going to be special, bro. We finna take off. Why can't we get in the top 4 this year, bro? I'm telling you, Doug got an easy A for me, bro. That's TC.
Thanks for the call, TC. Great stuff as always. Yeah, I mean, if you look at what the Kings have done so far, I would say this. Again, do you want to be cute or do you want to be handsome and strapping? That's where we're at with the Sacramento Kings.
I don't know. I kind of like cute.
Yeah, well, that's who they've been. And cute doesn't get you a parade.
Cute does it for me.
Cute does not get you a parade. 916-339-1140. Let's get to JR. Wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, JR? What you got for us?
I must be in the front row. That was Uecker's tagline.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. He was great on those natural light commercials. He was one of the classics. That's too bad.
Yeah.
He was very funny.
I know. I mean, 2024 was pretty rough, but even 2025, a rough start so far.
A rough start.
Yeah.
It has been a bumpy year.
Yeah.
And this flight is bumpy in 2025. Hey, I'm not going out to buy a Folsom Lake Ford yet, even though the coach says, hey, send them down. But I'm all in as an older Kings fan that loves Christie from the day, back in the day. And we all love him for his punch to the face on old Jimmy Fox.
Right.
Not Jimmy, but that was him. And that's why, if you're a long-term Kings fan, and that was preseason. That's what was beautiful about it. It was the Lakers in the preseason. However, that's also why I'm going to give him a B+. Because he should have beat the friggin' Lakers that first game. There's no excuses.
Come on, JR.
I'm not about cuteness, Kyle. About handsome, go down there, take care of that game. Get the B+.
Come on, JR. Thanks for the call.
JR is that guy who says the winningest coach in NBA history by percentage. Why didn't he win that one game?
The Lakers, and you know what? It was rough. And to be honest, who was it? There was somebody, I think it was actually Bill Simmons. So Bill Simmons tried to spin the block on the Kings for some reason. I still don't know why these huge names in media. Kings are the only small market that people dunk on. Every other small market, it's a great story. I was going to say cute story. It's a great story besides the Kings. I don't know why that is.
I think Charlotte also gets some of it.
Some of it, but that's the Michael Jordan thing as well. But the Kings get too much of it. Charlotte hasn't done anything. Period.
Yeah, Charlotte's like 2018 Kings right now. They're in the middle of their drought.
Right. So Bill Simmons, after the Kings lost to the Lakers, I believe I can find the tweet. I believe he said, "Who would have thought that basketball wife husband Doug Christie wasn't able to turn the Kings around after one game? One game. Well, you know how Kings fans get down, and the Kings went on that winning streak, including beating Bill Simmons' Boston Celtics. And I don't know if he ever spoke on it. I don't really listen to his pod. I know a lot of people do, but apparently he got dragged, as he should have gotten dragged. Because what are you doing, Bill?
But also, that was the day that everyone was reposting the same photo of Doug Christie from 2004.
Yes.
I don't know if it was from Basketball Wives or what it was, but everyone was just reposting that same photo. And so I think he was just kind of getting in on the trend.
Yeah, even Bill Simmons, he's got to hop on as far as, getting the clicks. So I'm glad that Kings fans told him what it really is, especially when they beat his Boston Celtics with no De'Aaron Fox. So shout out to Kings fans. But yeah, that Bill Simmons, that was crazy. People trying to roast the Kings already. All right, as we get into the De'Aaron Fox conversation, we have two situations here. And I know you might be hopping out the car, you might be on YouTube, then you're off YouTube. I don't want this to come off like we're trying to get De'Aaron Fox out of here. But I have two scenarios that we are going to go through. All right, we have a scenario with the best case scenario when you keep De'Aaron Fox, and a scenario with the best case situation for life without De'Aaron Fox. We start with life with De'Aaron Fox when we return. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sacktown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for three, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Thursday, getting out the door to a chilly start. Make sure you've got those layers ready to go. For the afternoon, expect mostly sunny skies, light winds, and highs today in the lower to mid-60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Elk Grove Honda reports that Honda has earned 3 coveted 2025 Car and Driver 10 Best Awards for the 3rd year in a row, honoring Honda Civic, Accord, and CRV. We're Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
This 49er injury report is brought to you by Jeremy Winter, attorney at law. He cares because he's been there. After an injury-plagued 2024 season, which ended 6-11 and out of the playoffs, the 49ers will focus on getting healthy in the offseason. Running backs Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, and Isaac Guerrero all suffered season-ending injuries. Left tackle Trent Williams' ankle kept him out late in the year, and Brock Purdy missed the season finale with a hurt elbow. 49ers hope to enter 2025 with a full roster back intact.
Serious accident. You deserve the law offices of Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237. Jeremy lost his mother in a car accident and knows firsthand the pain caused by tragedy. That is why he became an attorney to fight for others who are going through a tragedy. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, you deserve more. You deserve better. You deserve Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237.
Hey, it's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, and the regular season is over, but the high hand bonuses, those are not. $500 per primetime football game, whether it's weekend, Monday night, whatever it may be. And those bonuses available until the season ends, including the big game on February 9th. Capital Casino, 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com. Please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Listen for the Toyota Tahoe Report every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with Johnny Mosley to get the latest weather conditions in Tahoe throughout this snow season. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Happy New Grill. Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Give your family a real treat as we did on Christmas Eve. Bring out all the flavors of the new year with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. Napoleon grills have features other grills can't match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Complete with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Whitey and Napoleon Grills wish you Happy New Year. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. You know, I'm a huge fan of their SUVs and sedans, but they also have a huge vans fleet center. Listen up, business owners. Now is the perfect time to take advantage of tax deductions. They have the perfect van to power your fleet, including the new fully electric e-Sprinter alongside their very reliable diesel options. And even if you aren't a business owner, let's say you just want one for personal reasons. Maybe you want to go out on the town with the fellas or with the ladies, or maybe you want to take the kids on a road trip. Well, their vans are fully customizable. So check out Mercedes-Benz of Stockton right now. You can choose from their dependable diesel models or even go all electric with the new e-Sprinter. So head on down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton right now and check out their fleet center. Or, of course, you can go online at mbfstockton.com. That's mbfstockton.com.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Doug Christie conversations, De'Aaron Fox conversations, as we get you ready for Kings Rockets Part 2 Rockets kind of had the Kings number last season. Kings, that was probably the best win of the year for Mike Brown. I think that's where we all thought, okay, this is where we're going to get rolling here.
I just thought of what you just said. Is it possible that the best win of the year for Mike Brown was against Miami and the best win for Doug Christie is also against Miami? Because the first one was the Domas.
Yeah, the first
winner.
one was the talk in the locker room.
Yep.
When things had gone south, because they had just lost to the Raptors, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And then, I don't know, that Rockets game for the Kings, that was huge.
Yeah.
And they were red hot, the Rockets were. I think that was the best win.
I mean, the Kings ruined their chance at a number 1 seed in the NBA Cup. I mean, that's a giant upset.
Yeah, that it seems like so long ago. A couple of texts I wanted to get through before we have this De'Aaron Fox conversation. 209 says, why are we, the collective we, I'm sure, being so complimentary to Mike Brown? Nothing personal against the guy, but what has he really won over the course of his career, aside from winning a championship at Golden State? He does well for a season or two, and then teams need to move on. Well, I would throw it back to you, 209, not to get into a back and forth, but I guess what would constitute us being quote unquote so complimentary? I mean, think back to how good you felt in that moment when the Kings playoff drought ended. Now I get it. It's a what have you done for me lately league, and the Kings have moved on and we're moving on, but I'm not really sure how we're being so complimentary. I've never sat here and said that Mike Brown is, a top 3 coach in the league or anything like that. He took the Kings somewhere they haven't been in a very long time, and we're giving him his flowers for that. I mean, we're not even really saying that it was the quote-unquote wrong decision. It was just kind of how the Kings handled it, and we've moved on. Now we're talking about, was this something that was always going to happen as far as Doug Christie is concerned, and did Mike Brown kind of see the writing on the wall? But I don't really know. I would say over complimentary. We're not putting him. We never put Mike Brown in the conversation of a Ty Lue or a Eric Spoelstra or anybody like that.
Well, it's also misremembering the end of of Mike Brown's previous stops, right? Like in Cleveland, he got fired after winning 61 games the year before. It wasn't like, he had lost his luster or whatever. No, they won 61 games and fired him because Dan Gilbert thought it would make LeBron want to stay in Cleveland more.
Right.
And then he got fired by the Lakers because A, Dwight Howard left in free agency, and B, Jerry Buss was like months away from dying and thought it was going to be his last chance to win a championship. And so he fired the coach and I think made Derek Fisher the coach at that point, just because he was like, we got to go for it now. And so I don't think it's been a situation where he's just worn out his welcomes and been tossed aside. That's not how Mike Brown's gone down.
Yeah. And I mean, I think ultimately, if we're doing the championship thing, then there are a lot of coaches that haven't done anything, right? I mean, you're either a championship winning coach, a current championship winning coach. You're viewed as a bridge coach that maybe will one day get over the hump, and until you do, that's who you are. Or you're a hot, young, up-and-coming coach. Those are kind of the 3 options, right?
Or you're a placeholder. And
but that's what I'm saying for the bridge, if you will.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess the bridge is tough because there's teams that are totally rebuilding. Like the Rockets, who was the coach of the Rockets? Someone's former son before Udoka. But basically, he was a placeholder for 2 years until they got enough young talent to be attractive enough for Udoka.
Right. So Mike Brown isn't necessarily that, but there are those situations, but there's really only a couple guys. So, and the hot young guys, you're hot and young until you're not hot and young. Right.
I would go Jamal Mosley with Orlando. He was like, taking the worst possible job, but it was his only chance to get a job. And now look, he's one of the favorites for coach of the year.
I would say another guy that's kind of was the hot young guy, and now we don't know what's going to happen, is Willie Green with the Pelicans. You bring in Willie Green, you got Zion, you got Brandon Ingram. That team is a complete mess. How much of it is Willie Green's fault? No clue. They got to the playoffs last season, but nobody was scared of them.
And if for some reason the Pelicans decide we're going to go a completely different direction at the coach, I would guess Willie Green lands a coaching job somewhere. Like he has that reputation for the work they're doing in New Orleans.
So, and then there's guys that are just on the carousel. right? Guys that their name is always going to come up. And I think that Mike Brown is one of those guys where his name will come up forever until he decides he doesn't want his name to come up anymore.
Yeah, he'll go be an assistant coach somewhere and maybe a quote-unquote rebuilding team, which, in fairness, I will say Mike Brown getting hired was not a great destination to land at. I mean, I know he was the Warriors' assistant coach and everything, but, like, the Kings were in the middle of a 17-year playoff drought when Mike Brown got here. It wasn't like he was he hadn't been a head coach in the NBA for 9 years, and he was taking a job with a team that was perceived to be a perennial loser.
Yeah, and I think it's all fine and good. Things didn't end great, so it's easy to more so remember that. But I definitely don't think I'm only going to speak for myself. I mean, as far as being overly or so complimentary, I wouldn't say that we're doing too much in that regard, because at the end of the day, we're not putting him in the same conversation as some of these other coaches. 916, as we ask how you evaluate Doug Christie so far, 916 says, honestly, it's not entirely about the wins and losses for me. Christie seems to be getting the best out of his players. They're playing hard, loose, and passionate. The team still has the same deficiencies at the 4, but if they play with this kind of energy, he will keep his A grade for the rest of the season. And that's kind of where I'm at. 916. I do think it goes beyond the wins and losses to a certain degree. You can't lose every single game, but I do think that how things look matters, right? And if it just, hey, teams are continuing to get better, we didn't get better, we didn't shore up our roster, and we just don't have the horses, but we did the best with what we had. Yeah, there's no way that Doug Christie is not the head coach going into next season. If things get a little bit squirrely like it did with Mike Brown, then I think that obviously things will change. I just don't see that happening. I do not see that happening. And once again, this is somebody that they have been investing in to get to this position, and now we're here. So now that we're here, they're going to give him a good swing at this and a good opportunity for movement and for growth and for the Kings to kind of do their thing. That is where we're at. 916 says, talking about Monty McNair, I'm not sure if Monty takes accountability for his missteps. It seems as though it's the other person's fault, Mike Brown or Sasha or Davion. I don't think there will be a move made because that's him taking accountability for the construction of this team. Mediocre management, mediocre results, in my opinion. That's from our guy, Esteban. Yeah, I mean, the Mike Brown thing now, funny enough, is making Monty look better, wouldn't you say? I mean, he still needs to make a move, but the report was that Monty McNair was the one that decided to move off of Mike Brown, and then they go on a 7-game winning streak, and they are 7-2 in the Coach Doug Christie era. Now, if they start losing games where it's looking like against the Bucks, where they're just not big enough, Keegan is just continuing to not shoot the basketball that well because he's doing too much defensively. Trey Lyles kind of turns back into what he's been, and you really only have one person in that position with Trey Lyles. Kevin Huerter isn't really doing much off the bench. Then, yeah, I would say Monty would have to look in the mirror. But I think right now Monty can say, hey, well, what's funny is the firing of Mike Brown is a move. When we think about GMs, and myself included, we think of the only things that GMs do is update the roster. But Monty can kind of count this so far as a W in moving on from Mike Brown. I don't know if Vivek is, because he's got to shell out $20-30 million for Mike Brown to be in the Bahamas or wherever he is. But Monty can say, hey, I made this decision, and look, we're back in the playoff race, and we all know it's about that playoff revenue. Well, will De'Aaron Fox be a part of the Kings' future? That's a discussion we have. We talk about the realistic best-case scenario for life with De'Aaron Fox moving forward. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Rockets. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports 1140.
You've heard the saying, penny wise, pound foolish, right? It means you do something that will save you a little bit right now, just pennies, but that ends up costing you pounds in the end.
People put off tuning up their furnace because they don't want to take the time or spend the money to get it done.
But it only takes 90 minutes and costs just $87, which is just pennies compared to the huge problems and expenses that can rack up if you don't get your furnace tuned up.
You'll also save money on your energy bills, and your system will last longer.
So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Call Bell Brothers for a precision tune-up and professional cleaning today.
Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Intercepted by Fred Warner.
Faithful to the Bay.
Fred gets up and runs back the other way 30.
Don't miss the excitement of 49ers game day. Secure your spot at Levi's Stadium for the 2025 season.
20, one block and he's in.
Season tickets are available now. Inventory is limited, so to speak with a representative, call 415-GO-49ers.
Touchdown!
That's 415-GO-49ers.
San Francisco!
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
There's no better time than now to get yourself into a brand new Jeep because it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, offering the best deals in town and a selection other dealers are jealous of. Stop on by. They're just off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
The new year is upon us with promises of new beginnings and new adventures, but don't let 2024 slip away without savoring the memories made with family and friends. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Looking forward is always exciting, but I have a lot to appreciate in this past year, revolving around time with family and more good time spent around my Naturewood dining table. Watching my grandson with his first bite of birthday cake was priceless and reminds me that new life is the perfect balance between yesterday and today. Greet the new year with a visit to Naturewood Home Furnishings during their annual New Year sale going on now, including all the fine furniture and accessories in every department. How about a new style for the new year? Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with future memories for tomorrow. The memories you make with your family will stay with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Happy New Year! Coach Christie here letting you know it's never been easier to drive into the new year in a new Kia. Take advantage of special low finance rates and zero down deals with approved credit right now at Folsom Lake Kia.
Live and local 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Little B2K for you.
Some
Throwback Thursday. You don't even know who B2K is.
No, I have no idea.
Are you serious?
I see 2000 on the sound list. I'm like, nope.
Are you serious this time?
It looks like it's from a movie.
Yes, but it's from a movie. But yes, B2K is a group.
No. Name a song by them.
Bump, bump, bump. Do you know who Omarion is?
Yeah, I know who Omarion is.
Yeah, he was in B2K.
Okay, but I only know Omarion from that song that's like, "It's supposed to be, ooh, it's like it's supposed to be," that Chris Brown song. That's the only thing I know Omarion.
I can't do this, man. I can't do this anymore.
This is a great song. I'm vibing to this. This is great.
Oh, goodness.
What is You Got Served?
Okay, I can't do this. I can't do this. Allen Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports. And
this
Mr.
song came out
Jonesy.
before I was born.
All right. Enough. Kyle Ledbetter behind the glass, making me feel old as usual. As we take you up to 2 p.m., Trissy Rodriguez joins us in about 15 minutes. Tristi from NBC Sports California covers the Kings, does a great job. We will talk to Tristi about what she has seen from the Sacramento Kings during this win streak. And really, we got to move on from the win streak, just from the Doug Christie's Kings so far. I did want to, I was thinking a lot about how everyone keeps talking about whether you keep De'Aaron Fox or whether you move on from De'Aaron Fox. So I tried to break down the best case scenarios. We're going to go through both. The best case, what is your realistic best case scenario for life with De'Aaron Fox? And then we will probably, after Tristi, discuss the best case scenario for life without De'Aaron Fox. And when I broke down both of these, the spoiler alert is that life with De'Aaron Fox, in my opinion, feels like a better path, or at least a more consistent path, if you will. Now, obviously, you're going to give up your future to a certain degree, but when I break down life without De'Aaron Fox, there are a lot more situations where this thing doesn't work. Okay, so this is kind of my breakdown of what is the realistic best case scenario with De'Aaron Fox. And again, realistic. And I just chose something that was pretty recent. I wish I remember the texter who put this in yesterday, and I don't know if you could do it, but let's say the Kings get a player that everyone's been talking about, and another player. And yesterday we saw on the text line, it was Kevin Huerter, Trey Lyles, 2 first-rounders for John Collins and Walker Kessler. Okay? My guess, I don't know. And by the way, Evan Sidery, he just reported that the Jazz and Kings have conducted exploratory talks centered around John Collins. And he says Sacramento can make salaries work while avoiding the tax by including Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles. Now you throw on Walker Kessler. That's why you're giving the first round picks away, right? So let's say you get those guys, you get your other 4 who can also play some 5, and then you get a rim stopping 5 in Walker Kessler. How does that end for the Sacramento Kings? So you've lost a couple first rounders. You're essentially, I would say, this is a version of going all in. You might be touching the luxury tax. You lose Trey Lyles. You lose Kevin Huerter. You don't lose any young prospects. Maybe you do, right? Maybe Devin Carter has to go. Okay, I would still probably do that deal. How does this end? When we talk to other people around the NBA, and it's hey, what do you think about the Sacramento Kings? And do you see them as a threat? Whatever it is, what do you think the NBA world would say, or how would they view the Sacramento Kings if they found out, wow, the Kings gave that up and they got John Collins and Walker Kessler? I honestly feel like the NBA world would say that's kind of a real deal. I don't know that they would sit there and say the Kings are the favorite, but I do think around the NBA, especially on this winning streak, if the Kings were able to retain everyone besides Trey Lyles, Kevin Huerter, a couple picks, maybe throw in Devin Carter, right? And I know a lot of people are high on Devin Carter, but I think Devin, we talked about it with the roundtable, Devin Carter would be worth more than Keon Ellis just based on cachet. I think that they would be a team picked by the non-hater national media to go on somewhat of a deep playoff run. Now, that maybe that's only the second round. It depends on your definition of deep, but I think that this would be a realistic best case scenario for the Kings. Then the question becomes, well, how does this end? That's what I think becomes interesting. Because after you sign De'Aaron Fox, let's say they make this move, they get to the second round, De'Aaron, it doesn't matter, he gets the Supermax, he doesn't, he stays. Because then the conversation is, well, this thing doesn't end, right? Moves still have to be made. And I think that's the one thing we haven't talked about in the De'Aaron Fox discussion. What happens once he stays? He doesn't just want to go to the second round. There will be a version 2 and version 3 of this Kings team. De'Aaron is just, in his opinion, version 1 hasn't happened yet. So I guess this is a long-winded way of asking and answering and getting your thoughts as well on what is, if you want De'Aaron Fox to stay, what is it that you think will get him to stay that's realistic? And how does this thing ultimately end? How do you get it to end with the parade in Doco?
Yeah, I guess we're like 4 steps away from that one. If we start with step 1, which you're talking about the John Collins, Walker Kessler trade situation, both of those players come off the bench. You immediately
in Sacramento.
Yes. And you immediately replenish your bench depth with, in a non-Peyton Pritchard world, maybe the 6th man of the year in John Collins and Walker Kessler, a true shot blocking center. The Kings would be better tomorrow than they were today if they made that trade you're talking about. However, I would say that's what you expect when you're giving up 2 first-round picks, is you are made better the next day immediately because you've just mortgaged a not insignificant part of your future. And so if you do make that move and mortgage the future and Fox does re-sign, then you are without the capital to then make that big move later on if you want to make that trade that gets you in a position to get a championship because a top 10 player in the league becomes available all of a sudden. You're not in prime position to acquire that player. And that's the tough balancing act that you have to play is there a future without De'Aaron Fox, or does that championship future require De'Aaron Fox to sign an extension?
If they made that move, Walker Kessler, John Collins, looking at the West right now, we don't know what any of these teams are going to do moving forward. Obviously, the Mavs aren't the actual Mavs because no Luka. But looking at it right now, I don't know how this season ends, but next season, that's a top 4 team in the West.
Well, yeah, because,
on paper.
Because nobody is trading 2 first-round picks. Nobody would be mortgaging their future in such a significant fashion as the Kings, unless a superstar we're not seeing comes available this offseason.
So that's the all-in best-case scenario if the Kings want to keep De'Aaron Fox, to me. A move like that. That's not the only move, but a move like that. And I think that could be a happy ending for the Kings. And you have to answer the question the same way I think Warriors fans and the Warriors organization is looking at Steph Curry in a way, completely relatively speaking, in that this is one of the best players that you've had, right, in a very long time in your organization. Do you want to chance finding someone as good at a lesser cost and without the baggage at this point, or do you want to milk this group for everything that it's worth?
I know we're short on time and we have Tristi coming up, but I have a question to follow up to that with. So do they have to make that move right now? Or, for example, if they make that exact same trade on June 22nd.
You can make it in the summer.
Okay.
You have to make it before this season starts because you're trying to convince De'Aaron to stay.
Yeah, he's going to have to sign that extension or tell them he's not staying by training camp of next year. So I was just curious that part. Do you think they have to do that now, or they can do it in the offseason and say, look at what we've just done to prioritize building around you?
Because, a lot of these, and somebody in the SAC chat is saying, what did Draymond just say about teams mortgaging their future? I hear you. But it's different to look at that after you've had 4 parades and the Kings are trying to get their first one. And history is not on the Kings' side.
Well, on my end, I'll take the Western Conference Finals.
That's what I'm saying.
If you shoot for the moon and end up or if you shoot for Mars and end up at the moon, I'll take that.
Especially looking at the Western Conference right now, there is no the Dodgers, right, with what they're doing. The Giants, I don't know what they should do because it would be really tough to beat the Dodgers. There's no Warriors Kevin Durant team where, hey, guys, why are we going to mortgage because we can't do this? You got the Thunder, who they're still unproven. They're not a perfect team. The Rockets are the 2 seed. The Grizzlies are the 3 seed. The Nuggets with Russell Westbrook playing at a high level, the 4 seed. And you're going to trust Kawhi as a 5 seed? The 5 seed, the Mavericks, just went to the finals. This is a perfect time to put all your chips in. I don't know. And like we always say, Kyle, I know we got to get to it. Winter is coming. Just like that show, Wemby is coming. So keep messing around if you want. But you got some teams that are in bad spots. And this is an opportunity. And like you said, Kyle, you don't have to do it right now. But are you really going to care that much about your first round picks when you don't know what the future holds? And have you really had the best history with your first round decisions? You got some hits, you got some misses. So that was a breakdown of the realistic best case scenario, keeping De'Aaron Fox. We have Trissy Rodriguez joining us on the other side. Then we will break down the realistic situation, best scenario for life without De'Aaron Fox. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Rockets. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you bought that TV in the parking lot. It just happened to not come in a box, or include a remote. And when you finally managed to turn it on, all it displayed was the menu of Grumpy's Tacos. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC now recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Celebrate the new year in style with a new Honda from Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. With over 500 new Hondas in stock and ready to go, now is the time to save on your favorite Honda in person or online. CRV, HRV, Pilot, Accord, Civic, and Ridgeline. It's a new year with endless possibilities. Get the deals that make it easy to say yes at Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
I tried to quit smoking cigarettes probably hundreds of times over the years. 2 or 3 days into quitting again, I go get into a vehicle and guess what? There's a pack of cigarettes in there. I mean, I've got the unlit cigarette in my hand. And I said to myself, why do I even try to quit if I'm going to cave so easily every time? Something clicked in my head that told me I can do this.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. You get it?
Yes, good job.
So what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hi. I'm Justin Gingery from the law firm of Gingery, Hammer and Associates. When you have been injured by the fault of another, you will want advice you can trust. If you know an attorney you can trust, I hope you call that person. But if you don't, please call me. I promise I will be the attorney you can trust, along with my entire team. I have been helping accident survivors recover compensation for their injuries for 25 years, and we can help you. There is no charge for calling. If you have an injury, just call Ginger.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Hey, horror movie fans. The Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento is now serving adult beverages. This week, get ready for Wolfman, the IMAX experience.
What was that thing, Blake?
It was like an animal, but it was standing on 2 feet.
The best place to experience this action-packed thriller is on the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen.
Something's happening to me.
With heart-pounding audio that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Get your tickets early at IMAX.com/Sacramento. And don't miss Wolfman, playing this week at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Hammer time thrown down by Malika. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
$12 o'clock hour, Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports. Taking you up to 2 p.m. Kyle Ledbetter doing a great job DJing for us. Be sure to get your requests in. And I had a request, and Kyle helped me with this one as well. I requested Trissy Rodriguez to join us for NBC Sports California. Tristi, thanks so much for joining us.
I don't know why anybody would request that, but hey, thanks for having me, Alan.
But but I need to, because Tristi, I went to Justin Timberlake concert last night, and it was just a millennial extravaganza. But Tristi, this is my problem. And Kyle, he works his butt off. We appreciate that. But I'm getting more and more gray hairs working with this kid. And I say kid because, Tristi, I put in songs to come back with, and I put in a B2K song. It's Throwback Thursday. This man is going to ask me who is B2K, Tristi.
Oh, goodness. Kyle. Man.
I mean, he knew who Omar, and then he says, and then I say, do you know who Omarion is? He says, yes. He says, he's the one from the Post to Be song. I almost left. You almost had to do the interview alone, Tristi. I'm sorry.
Oh, my goodness. It's okay, Kyle. We can still be friends, maybe.
Trissy Rodriguez, NBC Sports California. Tristi, we were going over grades for Doug Christie and what world we could even live in where he doesn't become the head coach at the end of this season. What grade would you give Coach Doug Christie so far, and why?
I feel like this might be a cop-out answer, but I just feel like you can't grade such a small sample size. I feel like the true test starts literally tonight. Mm-hmm. But just for the sake of the question, I mean, I have to say like an A-, maybe. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that you respond from a 5-game losing streak, a coaching change, it seemed like the team hit rock bottom, especially after that loss to the Pistons. You go to the Lakers, you lose, but like it even almost seemed like something was changed. And then literally we saw the proof of that with that 7-game win streak. They lost against the Bucks, but hey, that's a bigger issue. And it's hard not to give this man anything but an A. And to your point, like, I don't see them not moving forward with Doug Christie beyond the season.
Talking to Trissy Rodriguez, and Tristi, it's funny that you say the Bucks was a bigger problem, no pun intended, because the length has been an issue for the Kings and a team like the Bucks. I mean, that is just written in the stars that the Kings were going to have trouble. Do you think that the Kings still need to make a move, and do you think that they will?
Yes, they absolutely still need to make a move, and maybe I'm naive to Kings culture, but I do have hope and faith that Monty and Wes, they will do something. I think that the coaching change, maybe whatever the culture shift, that was step one, and they dug themselves out of the hole, but there's still plenty of work to do. And if anything, that Bucks game, yeah, you heard Doug say, I'm proud of the guys, 2-1 road trip. Okay, cool. But like I said, that Bucks game it just exposed the bigger issue. And that is that they have a front court problem. They need to get Domas help. They need the wing depth. They need length. They need size. They need, all these things that have been an issue over the past 2 seasons. And yeah, that first, the original Beam team era that year, it's like, okay, we survived because we're a great 3-point shooting team. We have this historic offense. You're not that team anymore, frankly. So to compete in the West, you're just going to need to do that. And we'll see. I mean, I really don't think they can survive going through another boring, non-move trade deadline. They just can't.
And I don't think that Kings fans can go through it either. Talking to Trissy Rodriguez from NBC Sports California. Tristi, what has been the biggest change you've noticed with Doug Christie's Kings during this 7-2 stretch?
I mean, I feel like, just to replicate what the players have been saying, it just seems like things have simplified. And I guess from the media standpoint, we don't know exactly what that means, but just behind the closed doors, it seems like, shorter practices, condensed practices, maybe just the offense. Mike Brown, that some things can get a little technical, and De'Aaron Fox, I remember, even talked about how some of the newer guys that came to the team, that maybe their offense was a little complex and not all the guys were a fan or it was easy for them to buy into. So it just seems like the simplicity of it all is something that the players have been able to buy into. I do think this isn't always the right answer, but it does seem like him having that player perspective is easy for the players to buy into. And I think Mike Brown is a great coach. I mean, his resume speaks for itself, but I do think that, when things are working, a change is needed. And it just seems like the guys have just bought in, and it's clearly working so far. But like I said, I think that I'll have to see tonight and moving forward.
Trissy Rodriguez, NBC Sports California. Tristi, we were going back and forth with this because when you look at where the Kings are situated now, there are a couple teams that are ahead of them because of tiebreakers and things like that, but they are in the mix. Would you say it's fair to say that you or we should expect the Kings to make the playoffs, or is that maybe wanting too much?
I think at this point in the season, it's not impossible. I don't know if people should expect it, and they definitely shouldn't expect it if no move is made. If a move is made and it addresses, it's not Robin Lopez, right. It's something that actually is going to help the team, something that they've lacked over the past 2 seasons, then yeah, I think it's fair to say we should expect them to make the playoffs. Of course, so many factors tie into that, injuries and, health and all that stuff that happen with other teams, not just the Kings in the West. But I think I don't like expectations, but I will say that as of now, how this team is currently constructed, I will say I don't expect them to make the playoffs. I can't say I expect them or can think they're talented enough as currently constructed to maybe make the play-in. And, you know, we've seen teams do that and maneuver their way into a playoff like series. But as of right now, I don't have that hope for them.
Trissy Rodriguez, great stuff as always, Trissy. Be sure to check out Tristi's work on NBC Sports California and follow her on social media. She's always got some great notes. Thank you so much, Trissy. I'll see you tonight.
Thank you. See you later, guys. Bye.
That was Trissy Rodriguez from NBC Sports California. And Kyle, yeah, as far as the expectations are concerned, I think that is fair to say that play-in is probably more realistic. I'm just so tired of the play-in.
I've got the schedule game ready for you if you want to know just exactly what number the Kings probably are going to have to get out of the play-in.
I know that is coming down the pipe, and look, I'm excited to even be a part of the conversation because there was I'll say this, I'm excited to be a part of the realistic play-in, right? The 9-10 thing, what are we doing there?
And I know that as the season goes along, teams that are in playoff contention start to play better because the teams that aren't in playoff contention completely fall off.
Yeah.
But this year's West is actually easier than last year's West. If you look at the teams at the top are the teams at the top, but if you'll remember, the last day of the season, Oklahoma City, Denver, and Minnesota were all battling for 1 through 3 right down to the very end. This year's different because Oklahoma City is just blowing the competition out, right? So by proxy of Oklahoma City being 12 games better than last year, it's actually knocking everyone down a little bit in the Western Conference standings. So because the West is so top-heavy, which again isn't great for the Kings' chances of making a deep playoff run, because the West is top-heavy this year, it's actually working out better for the teams in that 5 through 12 category right now. So in that sense, the Kings being 500 and being the 9 seed would not have been the case last year because the 9 seed was 46 wins for Sacramento.
Yeah, that's really true. That's true. I got to say, I got to peel back the curtain here a little bit. And Kyle, you gave me a little bit of a look. I'm going to have to apologize to Tristi because what happened was there was a little bit, I cut her off a little early on the bye because of my just muscle memory when I have a call. So when we were saying our goodbyes, I kind of hit her with the hang up as I do to some callers sometimes, and the bye got a little bit cut off. So I got to say I'm sorry for that one.
You're okay. I just normally when we do guest again please do not look at the man behind the curtain. I know people have been watching a lot of Wicked recently, but yeah, normally I'll talk to Tristi after the call is over on the line and be like, hey, thanks for coming on, all that stuff. And then this time you dropped her. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was muscle memory. So shout out Tristi. Great stuff as always. And I'll apologize to her. I'll hit her up and I'll also see her tonight. On the other side, okay, as we mentioned, Life with De'Aaron Fox. We broke that down. If you missed it, check it out on Sacktown Sports YouTube or the Sacktown Sports app.
And our podcast.
And now we're going to discuss best case scenario of life without De'Aaron Fox. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures. Until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping for French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com, Babbel.com.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
What you know about this, Kyle?
Literally nothing. I know.
Go ahead.
I know the people watching may think this was my DJing choice. No, this was an Allen Stiles request. Okay,
This is a banger.
yeah, I'm just saying people might have assumed I snuck this one in here, and no,
Why is that?
just saying.
No. Why is that?
This song is called "House Party" by Sam Hunt, and I'm just gonna say it's even too white for me.
This is a banger. I don't care. This was 2010s too.
Country in the Park.
This is that hybrid country. You know what I mean?
I think he was at Country in the Park, is why I said.
Throw some claps in there. This is barely country. This is just hip hop with a twang.
With a twang. That's what we're calling it now.
This twangy hip hop.
This is hip hop with a twang.
It's poppy hip hop with a twang.
Sure.
And a guitar.
Hey man, you do you. I'm just saying, I'm wiping my hands clean of this choice.
Well, you can. You put some respect. That's right. It's almost spring, which means it's almost summer. You know how we get down. Thanks again to Trissy Rodriguez, NBC Sports California. I did text her to apologize. I did not hear back though, so haven't heard back yet.
I think you're overthinking.
That's typically what I do. Shout out Trissy Rodriguez. Go check out all of her everything that she writes and does for NBC Sports California, and follow her on social media. All right, Kyle, we have broken down life with De'Aaron Fox, and obviously you're giving up on the 7th grade AAU players, some of these first rounders, just a couple, just 2, and it probably the realistic trade, knowing Danny Ainge, we can go worst case scenario, 2 first rounders, Trey Lyles, Kevin Huerter, and Devin Carter. I don't know that it would take both of those, because if they're willing to, if the conversation that we've heard from Evan Sidery is that Trey Lyles and Kevin Huerter by itself could get it done for John Collins, then I don't think you would need 2 first rounders and Devin Carter. And I just don't think the Kings would do that. So some option of 1 first rounder and Devin Carter, or 2 first rounders. Okay. So that's life with De'Aaron Fox. And me personally, I say bleep them picks. That's how I feel about it. You know, look, we don't know where we're going to be tomorrow. I'm also not a GM. So me personally, I say bleep them picks. Let's see how far the Kings can go in this Western Conference where no one has really put their foot down. I mean, no disrespect to OKC, but we don't have this perennial super team that you have to worry about. It's wide open as far as I'm
5
concerned.
different teams have won the Western Conference in the last 5 years.
Beautiful stat there, Kyle. Nicely done. So now that was the argument to keep De'Aaron Fox. Now let's all collectively work together to come up with a realistic best case scenario for life without De'Aaron Fox. And this is kind of what I cooked up, Kyle. So a move isn't made, right? Or it's a fringe move where it's just, you know, you go and get a Larry Nance Jr., something like that. Just nothing that moves the needle. You don't lose too much. You get to the play-in, okay, and you lose in the play-in. And De'Aaron says, my coach is gone. Y'all didn't make no moves. We were the 9 seed again. We didn't make it out of the play-in. And you know what? And I didn't get all NBA. So I'm not even Supermax eligible. Thank you for your time, Sacramento. It's been a great 8 years. It's time to move forward.
Or at the very least, he says, I don't plan to sign my contract extension now.
Do with that what you want.
Yes.
To the front office.
If you want to move me, great. If we want to run it back 1 more year, also great.
Now, this is going to come off as bias, what I'm about to say. And I'm very open about that. And like I said, I've been very tough on De'Aaron. I don't think he's a perfect superstar. I don't think that, and not that there are a lot out there, and I do think that there is a tier above De'Aaron. But this is the realistic scenario for life without De'Aaron Fox. There's two options that I see. You luck out in a rebuild package where it's a full-blown rebuild. You're getting the Stephon Castles of the world and some first rounders. Houston, because they're trying to make their move. You can't get Tari Eason. You can't get Jabari Smith, but they're willing to give you a Cam Whitmore, Reed Shepard, and some first rounders.
Yeah, the Donovan Mitchell 4 first round.
Yes, and eventually that leads to probably moving off of Domantas Sabonis, okay, because these dudes are young, and you go from there. That's the first option I see, okay? The other option, and I guess you could, and I guess that's kind of the Shai Gilgeous situation. That'd be best case scenario by far. The other option is you get an other pieces package, right? That's what we were kind of talking about with the Heat or the Lakers, and you just continue to compete and you tweak. You got a Rui Hachimura. I know they don't want to get rid of Austin Reeves, but you get a Rui Hachimura, you get some collection of current talent, and you're just, hey, we're competing. The West is wide open. Maybe Malik takes that leap that we're hoping. Maybe Keegan Murray takes that leap that we're hoping for, or it's the Heat. Let's just play the game. It's the Heat. They're willing to give you a Jaime Hawk because you say, hey, fine, you don't want to give us Tyler Hero? You got to give us Jaime Jaquez or Nikola Jovic. You got to give us somebody. You get a Jaime Jaquez, and he ends up being a dude. He's starting for you in that 3-4 position. Again, you get whoever they have as far as the guards, and Khalil Ware ends up being a dude, and you're just competing and tweaking, competing and tweaking. Those are the two options. Both of those options to me are nowhere near as appealing as where the Kings are right now with De'Aaron Fox. And that's why, to me personally, when people are, don't mortgage the future and things like that, the more I look at this Western Conference, and Whitey said it best last season, because I said, Whitey, have you ever seen a Western Conference this competitive and this strong? And Whitey said, you know what? The way I see it is there are a lot of good teams, but I don't know how many great teams there are. And what happens next? The 5 seed makes it to the finals. So because of that, and because of where the Western Conference is right now, those two options, Kyle, and I guess the other pieces thing, Jaime Jaquez could become a star, right? But those two options to me are not as appealing as losing out on the future, but going all in with De'Aaron Fox and the crew. And I'm not even the biggest De'Aaron Fox quote-unquote guy per se.
Yes, because when you're trading that player, you're getting, no matter what, less than what the player is in return.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few small examples, but we talked about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That took 4 years, and the Thunder not trading Shai Gilgeous-Alexander when they had the chance. They wanted to trade Shai for Cade Cunningham, and the Pistons said no. So, like the Thunder, it took years for that trade to become a win for them, and most of the time you're getting less than what the star player is worth because you don't want to trade him. Your hand's kind of being forced. The question is just, to both these examples, are you getting 80 cents on the dollar for what you're giving up, or are you getting 40 cents on the dollar for what you're giving up? The goal is to get as much back as you can, but unless you're going to get a player better than De'Aaron Fox back in exchange for De'Aaron Fox, you lose that trade. And the only way to get a player better than De'Aaron Fox is A, a player better than De'Aaron Fox wants to leave the place they're already at, or B, you believe Stephon Castle or Jalen Green or whoever else is going to project to be a 2-3-time all-star in this league. And if that person was going to be that,
that's exactly right. They wouldn't be. That's why Tari Eason. So the
team wouldn't give him up.
The 916 is saying you're coming up with weak deals for Fox. That's what we're saying. Because if you're anyone who's trying to take on Fox is essentially in win now mode. So that second option that everybody wants, the tweak and continue, that's not that realistic because these teams would probably, I know Sam Amick talked about the first round picks being more valuable than they have in the past because of the new CBA and because of the aprons and things like that. But for this specific situation, I do believe that these teams would be more willing to give up future capital because they're trying to compete now. So to the 916, there is no world there. I have not seen one draft. Every draft or every trade scenario that I've seen has really ticked me off. I haven't seen Tari Eason in a Rockets deal. I haven't seen Jabari Smith in a Rockets deal. It's Reed Shepherd, it's Cam Whitmore, and it's first rounders. Stephon Castle, sure, with the Spurs, because that's a guard position and you're getting De'Aaron Fox. The Heat are not giving up Tyler Hero.
No.
Okay? They probably aren't giving up Jaime Jaquez. And you're telling me that they're weak deals for Fox. These teams are in win now mode. As far as my belief is that there are certain teams that don't want to give up draft capital. If you're going win now, you're more willing to give up draft capital. I think that, this is just my opinion, that the Heat would rather give you a first rounder than Jaime Jaquez. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes. No, you're right.
And in this specific situation.
And the Kings, the reason these deals are weak is because the Kings would not be negotiating from a point of leverage.
Right.
Their hand is forced on they have to make the trade or lose him for nothing. And B, the teams that are going to give up the most in a trade are teams that De'Aaron Fox approves of. I will sign an extension with that team. And maybe that's the Spurs, maybe that's Brooklyn, who knows? But that's just where it's going to get to come July or August, is the Kings are not going to be negotiating with leverage because they kind of have a hard deadline of training camp to make that deal. And teams know that the only ones who will give them the deal they want are ones that De'Aaron Fox approves of to sign an extension with.
So that's a situation we're way over, but it was a great conversation. Kyle, let's open back up the phone line, see what everyone has to say. Which path would you choose? You know I love The Matrix, another movie Kyle probably hasn't seen. Red pill or blue pill, which path is more appealing to you? And we will discuss how good the Kings have to be to stay out of that plan. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Rockets. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Thursday spotlights sunshine and light winds expected throughout the day. Nice day to be working outdoors. Highs will peak in lower to mid 60s. Chilly overnight tonight with temperatures tumbling back to the 30s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Don't miss the excitement of 49ers Game Day by securing your 2025 season tickets now. Inventory is limited, so speak with a representative. Dial 415-GO-NINERS and reserve your seats. That's 415-GO-NINERS.
Shop can't miss deals going on now during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. For a limited time, get a free adjustable stand when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's a $229 value. Plus, save $680 on a Midea 4-piece kitchen appliance suite. Now just $17.96. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 113 through 124. Cannot be combined with additional discounts while supplies last. See store or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
This 49er Injury Report is brought to you by Jeremy Winter, attorney at law. He cares because he's been there. After an injury-plagued 2024 season, which ended 6-11 and out of the playoffs, the 49ers will focus on getting healthy in the offseason. Running backs Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, and Isaac Guerrero all suffered season-ending injuries. Left tackle Trent Williams' ankle kept him out late in the year, and Brock Purdy missed the season finale with a hurt elbow. 49ers hope to enter 2025 with a full roster back intact.
serious accident. You deserve the law offices of Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237. Jeremy lost his mother in a car accident and knows firsthand the pain caused by tragedy. That is why he became an attorney to fight for others who are going through a tragedy. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, you deserve more. You deserve better. You deserve Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237.
You know, when it's all on the line, you need a big-time closer, and that's especially true when it comes to your garage door. And that's why I recommend National Garage Door, 638-4554. Whitey Gleason here for National Garage Door. Whether you're looking to repair an existing door or get a brand new one installed, you need National Garage Door. Family-owned and operated. They've been around since 1974 because service is their number one priority. National Garage Door are the region's BSE, it's broken spring experts. Styles, prices, and quality of the new doors will amaze you. Our garage door was starting to sound kind of, and that's not good. So Kevin from National Garage Door came out. He said patching up the old one was an option, but we're getting a new garage door. We're pretty happy about that. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They offer sales, service, and installation on all residential and commercial doors and operators. If you have garage door needs, old ones coming apart, or you're looking to improve your curb appeal, let National Garage Door come through for you in the clutch and be your closer. 638-4554, National Garage Door.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Elk Grove Honda reports that Honda has earned 3 coveted 2025 Car and Driver 10 Best Awards for the 3rd year in a row, honoring the Honda Civic, Honda Accord, and Honda CR-V. Honda Accord wins for a record 39th time. You can see and drive all the new 2025 award-winning models at Elk Grove Honda and see why Honda cars and trucks continue to impress the critics. We're Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Throwback Thursday. One of our best Throwback Thursdays so far.
Because you're the one putting in all the songs. The Throwback Thursdays are better when the Sack Chat and the YouTubers.
I threw it out there.
Yeah, but I have to put yours in before theirs.
No, that's not true. It's not true.
You made 7 song requests already.
That's true.
This one I have heard of.
Stop trolling me, little Barrington. Great stuff. Got some texts to get to and calls as we continue to break down life with De'Aaron Fox, life without De'Aaron Fox, what that could look like. And obviously, this is just how I'm seeing it. If you're seeing it differently, this is just what I'm hearing as well. There have been a lot of conversations as far as what the package would look like to get to move on from De'Aaron Fox. And I haven't liked them. They've more so been in the rebounding or the rebuilding phase, right? They haven't really been in the second option that I threw out where it's let's just kind of get other pieces and continue to compete and tweak. That's not normally what happens in these deals. And we can think of deals where they've moved on from their stars, right? And obviously the OKC one is just, it's an anomaly to me because it's still young talent. It's not a compete and tweak. to me. It's a big luck out in a rebuild situation. That's what it was. 916-339-1140. Phone lines getting hot to trot. Let's get to them. Doug wants to be part of the conversation. 916-339-1140. If you want to be part of the conversation, what's up, Doug? What you got for us?
Hey, what's happening, man? Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
Hey, I've been on for, been listening to you guys. I used to listen to Grant. I've been listening to Stage for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed, I'll talk to Kyle a little bit, and I don't hear much about Sabonis in a trade, but I hear everything about De'Aaron. And I know the scenarios. But I look back the last 3 years. This kid was 15th in the league scoring, then 8th, and I think 9th, and this year, last 4 years. This kid has been top 10 in the past couple of years. And when you look at the names that are above him, Shea, obviously, things like that. But the more I look at it, I look at this and say, well, how many of these guys are a two-way player like this kid? And there isn't many. I mean, Steph Curry I love Steph Curry. But Steph Curry is nowhere near the defender that De'Aaron is.
Mm-hmm.
And De'Aaron can score at any time, any place on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not another player on that team that can do that and defend. And I know we all watch the same basketball. You see that kid picking up threes, sometimes even fours, defending whoever he needs to defend. And so I think we're really minimizing what we have.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kings organization has not done a good job of resetting anything.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for the call, Doug. Great stuff. Yeah, I would say a lot of people, whenever you see an underrated list as far as NBA players, De'Aaron Fox is always on that underrated list. Right. What's funny is we also see Domantas Sabonis on that list as well. The trading Domantas Sabonis thing, and Doug, you kind of spoke to it just as far as, with the contract and what I don't even know what it looks like or what you would get back for Domantas Sabonis. What's funny is, and I know, Doug, you said you've been listening to the show. I did an exercise maybe a month ago where I said, would the Kings be better? And maybe it was the Kuzma thing that ticked people off, but I said, would the Kings be better, this is while they were losing, if you swapped Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray for Kyle Kuzma and Jonas Valanciunas? Now, at that time, this was because of we're talking about De'Aaron getting to that next level, and the usage on Sabonis is so high. I got laughed out of the media room when we were having dinner, and a lot of the callers didn't like it as well. I didn't say I would do it. I just thought it was an interesting exercise to go more traditional. I believe that under Doug, things have become a little bit more traditional, less of the DHO, the over and over again DHO actions and things like that. But ultimately, I don't think there would be a conversation to move Sabonis because of just simply how well he's been playing. And I don't think there's an issue with De'Aaron and Domantas Sabonis playing together. And they're talking about on the text line, finding a really good point guard is probably harder than finding a really good big man the way you have with Sabonis. So I do think that there's something there as far as De'Aaron being underrated on the defensive end. I agree with that. I also think there's situations where De'Aaron could check ball on some of the top scorers more often. I don't think he has to, but as far as De'Aaron being underrated, I do think there is a world where he's underrated. I also think people can be frustrated, or there is a tough line when you have the conversation about, well, he isn't a Shea right now. He doesn't have the trajectory of a Shea, who also plays really good defense, or a Luka who doesn't, or a Luka. So a lot of people are just stuck with what to do with De'Aaron. Can there be a world where he's underrated, but also there is a different tier that he's not in quite yet? And do fans and does the organization think he can get to that tier? But great stuff, Doug. Thanks for listening all these years, and appreciate you listening now. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Sam. Wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Sam? What you got for us?
Hey, well, number one is and you don't have to answer this, but what retread manager, coach is going to try and bring in over Christie? Is it Ben Gundy boys or Malone or whoever? So That's number one.
Uh-huh.
Number two is that if you look at the Kings lineup, got Aaron Fox, underrated, like you folks said. DeRozan, all-star. Sabonis, all-star. Malik Monk, six-man. You know, you don't have a lineup problem. You don't have a Kings problem. The problem is twofold. Number one, you've got, if you're going to do any trading, it's got to be Keegan Murray and bring in a power forward to go alongside Sabonis. Now, you know, and number two is you've got to figure out how to get a little deeper bench, because the bench at number 8 right now is horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so it's not a coaching thing. I mean, so, come on, you guys understand that. And, you know, Kyle Kuzma and Valanciunas and all those guys, that's kind of going nowhere, because you're not going to give up 5, you know, you're not going to get Keegan Murray and Herder and all those guys for one of those guys. We're really stuck with the lineup we have. We got to deepen the bench, and if you're going to do anything, bring in a power forward and let Christie run the deal, and let's see where it goes in the next year.
Thanks for the call, Sam. Yeah, I liked a lot of what Sam said. I'm not really sure I would move Keegan. And, you know, we had this conversation with Cam Johnson where it's, hey, do you think Keegan will be better than Cam Johnson? If not, would you entertain doing that deal? So maybe that's what Sam is alluding to, doing more research on Cam Johnson and seeing the never played more than 66 games, things like that. I wouldn't do that deal. I would take a chance on Keegan, even if Keegan's stock is a bit low right now. But a lot of what Sam said, I did think was kind of spot on. I don't think the Kings are necessarily stuck, but I do think it's interesting. You make a move like Walker Kessler and John Collins, and both those guys are coming off your bench. That sounds like a super bench, right? Going from no bench to a super bench, but it's going to cost you. So do you like paying for what it might cost to put better players on your bench, right? But this is America, right? And you have to pay. You pay to play, and you pay for the level of stardom that you want. And right now, I think it all but matches up, besides maybe you'd wish you're getting a little bit more value because of Kevin Huerter's contract. But his contract isn't absurd either. Great stuff. When we return, it is time for a post-winning streak edition of the Kings schedule game, what the Kings have to do to get out of the play. Kyle will lead us through that one. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Tonight, Kings and Rockets. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports 1140.
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. It's the only place to see the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. It's big-time fun for the whole family. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to Golden One Center January 24th through 26th. Brought to you by BKT Tires. Tickets on sale now at monsterjam.com.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Intercepted by Fred Warner.
Faithful to the Bay.
Fred gets up and runs back the other way, 30.
Don't miss the excitement of 49ers game day. Secure your spot at Levi's Stadium for the 2025 season.
20, one block and he's in.
Season tickets are available now. Inventory is limited, so to speak with a representative, call 415-GO-49ers.
Touchdown!
That's 415-GO-49ers.
San Francisco!
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
The PGA club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Tom's Watch Bar has the best happy hour in Sacramento, starting with $5 specials all day, every day. Plus select $7 appetizers and $12 entrees. With 360-degree viewing and game day vibes that match being at the game, Tom's Watch Bar is the ultimate game day experience for sports fans.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
The Kings look to start a new winning streak tonight in Sacramento, and it's going to be lit in there. Kyle, were you around when lit was a thing?
I was, I believe, in middle school when that was a thing.
I'm doing it to myself now.
It's lit. Oh, that song was actually a little older, the Travis Scott. It's lit.
That's right. And the Kings are looking to light up another win streak tonight. The Rockets, they've been red hot. We will discuss the Rockets in our Kings Rockets preview in about 15 minutes here. But as we look at what the Kings just did, and it's funny because Kyle has done this before where we've looked at what the Kings need to do in order to stay out of the play-in, in order to be a 4 seed, 3 seed, 2 seed, and beyond. And in a lot of those situations, we said, oh, that's unrealistic. And then they go on to win 7 games in a row. So some of this stuff is realistic. If they keep playing like this, they do control their own destiny. So let's see what happens. Kyle, all right, let's get it going. Let's get some new updates on what the Kings have to do to be certain seeds in the West.
It's time for another edition of our favorite, the Kings schedule game.
That's right.
It's lit.
It's lit.
All right, so as people know, when we've been playing this game, we always say if the Kings do this well the rest of the season, where will they finish? Again, we're assuming that every team in the NBA will play to the same level they're at right now. which is always not a safe bet, but it's the closest we're going to get.
That's right.
Sorry, just waiting for that drop. If the Sacramento Kings end up playing the exact same pace as right now for the rest of the season, they're 20-20 halfway through the season. They'll go 41-41, and for right now, that's the 9 seed. Again, 41-41 gets you the 9 seed in the play-in. But last year, 46 got you to the 9 seed for the Kings as well. So they've got some wiggle room in terms of the early play-in. Now, Phoenix might turn it around. The Warriors might turn it around. The Spurs were just ahead of them, and they lost yesterday. So they do need to probably win more than 41 games. But as it stands right now, 41 games gets them back to hosting a play-in game like last year.
Don't like it. I'll take it, but I don't like it.
All right, well, let's keep going. If the Sacramento Kings for the rest of this season play as well as the 2025 Milwaukee Bucks, who they just played on Tuesday, got crushed. The Bucks have been just as up and down as the Kings this year, so it gives you some leeway for losses. The Bucks have a .564 win percentage. You play as well as the Bucks the rest of the season, you end up 43-39. And 43-39 gets you the 8 seed in the Western Conference.
Okay.
So 2 chances to advance through the play-in.
Yeah.
But again, if 41 gets you to the 9-10 game, 43 gets you to the 7-8 matchup.
Oh my gosh.
But it gets better from there.
Okay.
I know Mike Brown isn't the coach anymore, Stiles, but do you remember how Mike Brown used to have the message of taking the season in 5-game chunks?
Yeah.
And he said if you can go 3-2 in every 5-game chunk. Well, the Kings, if they go 3-2 in every 5-game chunk for the rest of the season, they would finish with a .600 winning percentage for the rest of the season, which is exactly what the Nuggets are right now. So if they play as well as the Nuggets the rest of the season, they will go 45-37.
Get me out of the play-in, please. Don't tell me that's a 7 seed.
45 wins is the 7 seed.
Oh my goodness.
But I will say 46 gets you the 6 seed. So last year, 46 wins got the Kings to the 9 seed.
Right.
48 would have gotten them to the 6 seed. As it stands right now, you just need 46 to get to the 6 seed. If they get to 46, they would jump the Lakers.
Right. And yeah, I mean, it feels like the same season as last season, but really just with some of it's really the Timberwolves. That's what it is. The Timberwolves dropping off a cliff has opened up a lot.
Yeah, and the Warriors playing as poorly.
Exactly. Just not even being in the conversation.
Phoenix was the 6th seed last year, although Houston being better.
You know what?
It.
Well, I was going to say, it's funny because even though the Timberwolves and Suns are down, to your point, the Grizzlies and the Rockets are back up.
Yes. The reason why this is the case, and this is cyclical if you want to make a deep playoff run, but everyone is basically a game worse this year or 2 games worse because Oklahoma City Thunder is 15 games better than they were last year. Oklahoma City's just running roughshod over the West, and so everyone's losing to the Thunder, whereas last year a few teams snuck a win against OKC. All right, so let's keep going. Kings got the Rockets tonight, right?
Yep.
Rockets are the 2 seed. Got a .692 winning percentage on the season. Number 2 seed in the West. If the Kings play as well as this Rockets team for the second half of the season, they are going to get to 49-33.
Give me the 5.
You got it exactly right. 5 seed. If you can get to 49-33, the Sacramento Kings will be the 5th seed, and your reward is going to Denver, where Aaron Gordon and DeMar DeRozan will battle again.
No, they will not. They definitely will not. Yeah, that's a tough one because that's what we were talking about. The Kings, they're not in a position to duck anybody, but you definitely would rather go to Houston right now than go to Denver. But again, we do this, and OKC, they did it, and didn't OKC get the Lakers first, and they beat the Lakers?
No, I think they had the Pelicans
last that's
year.
right, because the Pelicans, they're the ones that snuck in that 8 seed,
Yeah.
And everybody was calling, saying if the Kings could have just got in, and then the Pelicans got smacked.
Yeah, exactly. I think they lost in 5. I'm just going to make the note right here at 12:53 p.m. on January 16th. Allen Stiles says he would rather have the 7 seed than the 5 seed.
Kind of, but that's the problem. The only way to get the 7 is to play it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we got 2 more here. So, you know how we joked earlier that Doug Christie, I mean, it's not a joke, it's a stat. Doug Christie is the winningest head coach in NBA history right now with his 7-2 record, a .777 winning percentage. If the Kings play as well for the rest of the season as they have, if Doug Christie keeps his number 1 in NBA history pace of a .777 winning percentage for the rest of the season, 7-2 all the way to the end.
Yeah.
The Sacramento Kings will finish 53-29.
All right,
which I know
now we're talking.
Some analysts predicted that at the start of the season. I'm not going to say which ones on which podcasts, but 53 wins for the Sacramento Kings gets you the number 3 seed
Now
in
we're
the Western
talking.
Conference.
Now we're talking, Kyle.
Which means a first-round matchup against the Los Angeles Lakers.
Don't love it, but I'll take it.
Or the Clippers.
Definitely don't love that, but I will take it.
If they can if they just play as well as they have under Doug Christie the rest of the season, 3rd seed is in our future.
Doug hasn't beat the Lakers yet, if we want to talk small sample sizes.
And last but not least, we do this every time because you love it so much. With 42 games left in the season now, if the Sacramento Kings go 42-0 the remainder of the season, if they win every single game from this point forward, which, hey, if I had said that before the Bucks game, it wouldn't have been as unreasonable, right? They were 7-0. What's 42-0? I mean, am I right?
It's still
if they go 42-0 the rest of the season, the Kings will finish 62-20, which I think is not even the winningest season in franchise history. I think the 0-2 team won 63 games. So wouldn't even be a franchise record for wins, but they would end up in the 2 seed still, would still have to travel to Oklahoma City for the conference finals and play at Cleveland in the NBA finals. But I think a 62-20 Kings team would keep De'Aaron Fox around. Am I right?
You know, this one, out of all the versions of this exercise we've done, this one has been the least depressing.
46 wins is what they got to get to. If they get to 46, they will probably be the 6 or 7.
7 still playing, but
you got 2 home games.
Yes, you do have 2 home games.
I guess for the Kings, it's not a good thing.
Great stuff, Kyle, as always. Hopefully won't be a win streak, but hopefully the winning side of things starts again tonight. Let's talk about how the Kings can do it. Your Kings Rockets preview coming up next. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Rockets. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, Hims can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks. Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
It's time to turn up the volume on live entertainment. Check out the Sacktown Sports live events calendar for the hottest events and shows coming your way. On February 18th, catch the incredible Miles Kennedy at Ace of Spades. His powerful vocals and raw talent will leave you speechless. Then gear up for an adrenaline-packed night with the Thunder Showdown boxing event at Thunder Valley on March 8th. Who will come out on top in the ring? Be there to find out. On March 9th, don't miss the legendary John Oates live at the Crest Theater, bringing you iconic hits and timeless melodies. If you're a country fan, mark your calendar for March 16th, when Alexandra Kay brings her heartfelt songs to Ace of Spades for an unforgettable evening. And on March 29th, get ready to rock the night away as Papa Roach and Rise Against take over the Golden One Center with an electrifying performance. Don't miss these amazing events. For more information and your chance to win tickets, head to SacktownSports.com. Sacktown Sports, your front row seat to the Sacramento area's best live entertainment.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave coming to you from my good friends at American Energy. Look, it's already cold outside. It's only going to get colder. American Energy wants to help you stay warm and make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of the $49 tune-up inspection. Normally, $119, $49 right now, and that includes a full safety and duct inspection. And check it out. If your system's over 10 years old, and I'll bet it is, the tune-up, yeah, it's free. It's free from a company that's been in business since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ Better Business Bureau. Check their Yelp, check their Google reviews. Don't take my word for it. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. If you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Check them out at theaeway.com and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Elk Grove Honda reports that Honda has earned 3 coveted 2025 Car and Driver 10 Best Awards for the 3rd year in a row, honoring the Honda Civic, Honda Accord, and Honda CR-V. Honda Accord wins for a record 39th time. You can see and drive all the new 2025 award-winning models at Elk Grove Honda and see why Honda cars and trucks continue to impress the critics. We are Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 11.
Players got kicked out. Coaches got kicked out. There was allegedly spit on the face of a referee. Things got real chippy. And the Sacramento Kings, they know that the Rockets got something for them. But they are here to take care of business against the team that is currently the second seed in the Western Conference. They are 6.5 games behind the Thunder, who are just running away with the Western Conference. And the Kings are looking to crawl out of that 500 hole. You know, it feels like so long ago we were talking about the Kings staying away from the 500 fly, the fly that just wouldn't get out of your house, right? You think you got it. You think you let it out safely. And then you see it again. Then it got to a point where we weren't even talking about 500 anymore because they were so far below 500. Well, the Kings are back at 500 along with some of the same teams we've been talking about, right? The Spurs, trying to get away from the Spurs. The Warriors trying to fight their way back to 500. The Suns trying to fight their way back. Suns just made a move to get Nick Richards. Couldn't get any dang rebounds. So the Suns trying to improve. Funny enough, both the teams that the Kings are in front of right now have made moves. We'll see what happens with the Suns. But the Warriors made that move for Dennis Schroeder. Hasn't really panned out. Kings haven't even made a move yet, and we hope they do. But tonight, on Hello Kitty night at Golden One Center, the Sacramento Kings look to take down the Rockets for the second time. And the Rockets, by the way, will be coming off a back-to-back. They took care of business against the Nuggets, who did not have Jokic last night. So, you know, whatever you want to do with that. It was in Denver, but they beat the Nuggets by 20 points. Okay, so you had DeAndre Jordan. Yes, he's still in the league. DeAndre Jordan filling in for the place of Nikola Jokic. It's really funny. I look at Jokic like those when you have a starting quarterback that there's just no question who the starter is. A lot of times you don't know who the backup is. Like most of the time, I know that it's been a bit different, but most of the time you don't know who, you know, Aaron Rodgers, who his backup was. Or, you know, Tom Brady once he had Jimmy Garoppolo in that drama. But a lot of these premier quarterbacks, you don't really know who the backup is because it just doesn't really matter, right? So DeAndre Jordan, hey, Jokic doesn't really miss games. So DeAndre Jordan, we're still going to roll out there with you. So DeAndre Jordan, 23 minutes, 0 points, and 8 rebounds. Christian Brown had 22. Jamal Murray had 22. Russell Westbrook had 17. But the Nuggets beat the Rockets by 20. Şengün had 20. Şengün had a slow start in Sacramento last time they were out here, but he did heat up towards the end of the game. He had 20 points last night with 9 rebounds and 8 assists. Amen Thompson had 11 points and 9 rebounds. Fred VanVleet, 16 points and 8 assists. Jalen Green, 34 points. Cam Whitmore, 16 points as well. Everybody getting into the mix. Jeff Green had 8 points. So the Rockets took care of business. I mean, that Nuggets team with out Jokic, I'm not really sure how impressive that is, but it is impressive what they've been doing, and it's really impressive and the bigger part of that is, as far as minutes are concerned, Amen Thompson played 35, Dylan Brooks played 26, Şengün played 26. Fred VanVleet did play 35, and Jalen Green did get to 30. But some of these guys didn't play as many minutes. So that back-to-back thing, that does hurt the Kings a bit, or should I say evens out the playing field, similar to what the Kings the Kings had when they beat the Warriors badly. Nobody had to play in that fourth quarter, and then they came back and won when they came back home. So the Rockets coming off a back-to-back, bit of a more even playing field, even though VanVleet and Amen Thompson did get to 35 minutes, and they are traveling, but, you know, you beat a team by 20 points. It's not as if they had a hard-fought game where the Rockets had that double overtime game against the Kings. They lost and then had to go to the Bay. So a little bit of an asterisk next to that that back-to-back, and I think the Rockets are probably thankful that they got to face the Nuggets. That on paper, that's a really tough back-to-back. Then they find out no Jokic, and it doesn't really look the same. But the Rockets have been rolling, like I said, 7-3 their last 10 games.
And there's a chance you're going to get the Kings at full strength on the second night of a back-to-back, which the league does this thing where they've decided that Sacramento and Denver are apparently like close to each other, so they always have them play back. I think the Kings do one where they're at home Sacramento, then at Denver later. But I guess the elevation is the thing you'd point to and say that sucks. But I don't think it's, other than just being tired, I don't think it's really a precursor to like, oh, this is a terrible back-to-back they've just put the Rockets through. I guess it's part of a longer road trip though.
There are easier back-to-backs out there, right? And there are harder back-to-backs out there. And when you don't have to face Jokic, that definitely helps. We know, as we go back to the NBA Cup, the Rockets, they did really well in the NBA Cup. They did end up losing in the semifinal. That the way they got in was by winning prior to facing the Kings. And I'm looking here, the last time the Kings and Rockets did battle, it was that crazy game where you have DeMontis Sabonis 27, only had 7 rebounds, but 27 points. DeMar DeRozan had 16, Keegan had 13, De'Aaron Fox had 22, Malik Monk had 17, Kevin Huerter had 13. That was during the stretch where Kevin Huerter was playing really well?
I think so.
Off the bench. Isaac Jones minutes. That was the last time. That might have been the last time we saw Isaac Jones.
The last time I remember seeing Isaac Jones was the Denver game.
Yeah, so Alperen Şengün had 24 and 8. Fred VanVleet only had 13. He only had 1 assist, bizarrely. Jalen Green had 28 against the Kings last time they faced him. Dylan Brooks didn't do anything. 8 points with 3 rebounds. Jabari Smith.
But he hit that 1 3-pointer.
That's right.
And turned to the crowd.
That's right. And I think that's when the Kings started to turn it on. The Jabari Smith had 7 rebounds, 6 points. Nothing to write home about there. Tari Eason had a good game, 16 and 12. So he had a double-double. Amen Thompson had played 24 minutes but didn't do much. The Thompson twins are just getting better every single game. That's what I'm taking from whenever I watch the Pistons. I was watching Pistons Warriors a couple games ago, and whenever I watch the Rockets, they're continuing to get better. So I think it's going to be a tough one tonight.
Oh, you left out the most important stat of them all, Styles, which was the last time the Rockets came into Golden One Center to take on the Kings. It was the famous kiss cam moment.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, the kiss, the woman on the kiss cam who pantomimed something that was not a kiss.
That's right.
And then the Kings made 14 consecutive shots against the Rockets after the kiss cam. Yeah, that's
right.
That was the how crazy. That's like the third craziest thing that's happened this year for the Kings, between Royale, between the win streak, between Jeff in the pharmacy. Like, I can't believe we almost forgot about that until you brought up the Dylan Brooks turning to the crowd. That's what I remembered. That was the kiss cam game.
And I remember, the Kings are going to go on a win streak because of the kiss cam thing, and then they did not. And then they did not.
No, but again, I think this is the most important stat of the season for the Kings. They hit 14 consecutive shots after the kiss cam thing, which is absolutely one of the best moments of the season. And I can't believe we almost forgot about that until right now.
You gotta bring her back. Got to bring her back for tonight.
They've got to do the kiss cam at the arena. Even if she's not there, I think they just got to do it.
Jalen Green, like I said, he balled out against the Kings last game. He did cool off towards the end, and the Kings were able to get the W. In his last 6 games, going back to January 2nd, he's at 32 points per game, 54% from the field, 50% from 3. He's 32 of 64 and 96% from the line. So you really got to monitor Jalen Green. I got to double check. Let's see how many minutes Keon played in that game. But there's going to be a lot of Keon, or there's going to have to be a lot of Keon. Devin Carter is questionable. Malik Monk is probable, by the way. So I was probably wrong on that groin thing for Malik, but ultimately that's great news that Malik Monk is probable. Let's see here. Keon was either a DNP or did not play. We'll have to check, but no Keon Ellis the last time. So that makes us feel better about the Jalen Green thing. So no Keon, might have been an injury. Maybe was a doghouse DNP, but no Keon last time the Kings took on the Rockets, and they were still able to get the W. But Jalen Green, who's been on a hot streak, we're looking to put him on Ellis Island tonight. On the other side, we break down what the Rockets have been doing throughout the season to get that 2 seed, and we hear from Keegan Murray as he talks about what happened against the Bucks and the road trip in general. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Tonight, Kings and Rockets. Key night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
There's a lot of news going on right now, and we're in Kings world, and we're the flagship, and obviously, especially on game night, we don't want to stray too far from that. But there is so much going on right now. You have the Drake situation where he pulled the first lawsuit, but now there is a defamation lawsuit that he's trying to follow through on, and he's getting clowned for that. So he pulled the first lawsuit. Now he's filing another lawsuit, and even Drake's biggest supporters are roasting him on that. Somebody asked Draper about that. How about that?
Yeah, let's see what the LeBron James of the station or the Drake of the station has to say about it.
So you have all that going on. If you are a show buff or TV buff, my favorite show, and I know everybody does this, but I was on this show early, okay? After, 2-3 years, Severance Season 2 comes out, I believe, at 9 p.m. Pacific, or it comes out tonight. Severance Season 2 on Apple TV. I've been waiting for this for a very long time. Not going to get to watch it tonight because I will be in the building for the Kings-Rockets game.
I've heard it's a very weird show.
It is, and I won't get into it now, but there is a lot of moving parts. There are a lot of moving parts, but yeah, a lot going on in general. We got NFL coming up tomorrow as well with the playoffs, and Brock Purdy, the $60 million man. David Lombardi broke it down for the SF Standard. So tomorrow we will obviously react to the Sacramento Kings either way, but we will either be happy from a W or upset from an L. But there's a lot just going on in the world right now. We are fully away. We are fully away from the beginning of the year stuff. We're in the thick of it now. In 2 weeks, it'll be September. That's how the years go.
And you're also still off the Justin Timberlake fever right now.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, you're feeling good going into a Friday.
I'm feeling really good. All right, as we continue with our Kings Rockets preview, let's hear from Keegan, who was available after shoot around, who had some things to say about the Bucks loss and about the road trip in general. Here is Keegan Murray.
I think even like in the Milwaukee game, we had a rough first quarter, but the last 3 quarters, I feel like we fought in a positive way. So I think in every single game, like we've just played with looseness and joy and things like that. And that's just kind of been the emphasis of this turnaround. So
third in defense during that 7-game stretch. Do you feel like anything was what do you credit that to?
Just being aggressive. Just defensively, just trying to get our hands on the ball and just trying to figure out how we can get deflections and then get transition points when we get those deflections. So, I think that's been our point of emphasis, and it's helped us, especially those 7 games.
Keon's been in that starting lineup with a lot of the injuries. How much does that help you as having another guy out there that can take some of the large responsibilities defensively?
Yeah, he's been really good. There's been times where we've kind of switched off, like in the Miami game with Harrow, he started on him. Then I ended up finishing. So just things like that kind of help us with the energy level, especially like in tough games. So
Mark said that he was saying on the broadcast that you've changed since attending the Rod Wave concert. Do you agree with that? Like, is that a thing? Or is
it's my favorite artist. So definitely brought a lot of energy. But I don't know. It's probably just a coincidence or something. I don't know.
At the end, he kind of got a little embarrassed. It sounded
Definitely.
like I don't know.
Definitely. And if you haven't heard Rod Wave, I love Rod Wave, but just the lore of Keegan Murray and who he is, go fire up a Rod Wave song and it will make all of this even funnier because it just not the first, second, third, fourth, maybe even 10th artist I would choose for one Keegan Murray, but he earned some points in my book.
What's up, Vancouver?
Kyle, we were talking as we went to break, and you confirmed it as Keegan mentioned having Keon Ellis out there with some of these injuries. So that Rockets game was straight up a doghouse DNP for Keon Ellis. He was healthy, he just did not play.
Yeah, this was that stretch of games where he was really in the doghouse because you see DNP against the Rockets. The next game was the Grizzlies game that they lost. That was 2 minutes and 21 seconds for Keon.
What was the game before the Rockets?
That was the first Spurs one where Malik started for the first time. He got 17 minutes in that game.
Was that the game? That must have been the game where, if I'm not mistaken, either somebody fouled out or there was a situation where Keon didn't shoot or something, and then that led to the doghouse. There were always things that led to the next game being doghousey.
Yeah, and they're kind of sporadic looking back on it. It's like, so early in the season, he had a DNP the second game of the season, and then it was like 14 minutes, 17 minutes. When you go further on, it's like 28, 23, then a 19, 25, 23, 10, 33, 33, 16. So it's like kind of sporadic in there. And then this was the stretch where it's like 24, 17. He got yanked late in the game. DNP, 2 minutes, 21 seconds, then back to 20 minutes. So it was kind of sporadic looking back on it now, but this was the capital D doghouse game.
Yeah, D for doghouse or D for DNP, any way you want to look at it. Well, again, that seems like a long time ago, but as far as the Jalen Green thing is concerned, it's funny just to think about Jalen Green going off last game and just not playing Keon, but we're going to move on. But now you have a situation where you do have Keon, right? Seems like you will have Malik, but again, when it goes to Keegan Murray and maybe his offense picking up again, you can throw different looks, and Devin Carter is questionable, but you can throw different looks at him while he's trying to get into his bag, because he did ball out. He just cooled off towards the end of the game last time.
Yeah, and Jalen Green, you mentioned the numbers before going to break. He's playing like a legitimate MVP the last 6 games. 32 points, 50, 95 shooter from the field. Again, super small sample size, but like we talk about 50, 40, 90 players. He's a 54, 50, 96.6%. He only missed one free throw. I'll make it that line. He missed one free throw in the last 6 games. Jalen Green has been out of his mind. And I remember the first time the Rockets played, we did a game preview, and we said the Rockets don't have a 20-point per game scorer on their entire team. And since then, Jalen Green's gone from averaging 17.6 points per game to 21.9 points per game. He's increased his scoring average over 4 points per game in just basically 20 games.
Well, he'll have some different looks to handle tonight, and hopefully that is enough to keep him at bay. And look, again, we read off what happened last time the Kings played. Quiet night from Fred VanVleet. Don't want him to get going. He can be hot and cold. We were talking with the insiders yesterday. Fred VanVleet getting paid $40+ million. So let's not sleep on Fred VanVleet. He has hit big shots in the past. So it's Jalen Green, but a lot of these guys are able to get hot. They don't have the guy, but they got a lot of guys that are definitely capable, and Şengün can get rolling as well. Let's talk about what the Rockets have been doing as far as net rating, offensive rating, and defensive rating when we return. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Rockets. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Thursday spotlights sunshine and light winds expected throughout the day. Nice day to be working outdoors. Highs will peak in lower to mid 60s. Chilly overnight tonight with temperatures tumbling back to the 30s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Don't miss the excitement of 49ers Game Day by securing your 2025 season tickets now. Inventory is limited, so speak with a representative. Dial 415-GO-NINERS and reserve your seats. That's 415-GO-NINERS.
My good friends over at Jiffy Lube have an amazing New Year oil change special going on right now for the month of January. Get a full synthetic oil change starting at just $76.99 with a $33 off coupon online. That's right, starting at just $76.99 for a full synthetic motor oil change with a $33 off online coupon from jiffylube.com today. Offer valid for up to 5 quarts of premium motor oil, specialty vehicles, and diesel extra. Happy New Year from Jiffy Lube.
Happy New Grill. Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Give your family a real treat as we did on Christmas Eve. Bring out all the flavors of the new year with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. Napoleon grills have features other grills can't match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Complete with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Whitey and Napoleon Grills wish you Happy New Year. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
The PGA club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Celebrate the new year in style with a new Honda from Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. With over 500 new Hondas in stock and ready to go, now is the time to save on your favorite Honda in person or online. CR-V, HR-V, Pilot, Accord, Civic, and Ridgeline. It's a new year with endless possibilities. Get the deals that make it easy to say yes at Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Hey, it's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, and the regular season is over, but the high hand bonuses, those are not. $500 per primetime football game, whether it's weekend, Monday night, whatever it may be. And those bonuses available until the season ends, including the big game on February 9th. Capital Casino, 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com. Please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
This 49er injury report is brought to you by Jeremy Winter, attorney at law. He cares because he's been there. After an injury-plagued 2024 season, which ended 6-11 and out of the playoffs, the 49ers will focus on getting healthy in the offseason. Running backs Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, and Isaac Guerrero all suffered season-ending injuries. Left tackle Trent Williams' ankle kept him out late in the year, and Brock Purdy missed the season finale with a hurt elbow. 49ers hope to enter 2025 with a full roster back intact.
serious accident. You deserve the law offices of Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237. Jeremy lost his mother in a car accident and knows firsthand the pain caused by tragedy. That is why he became an attorney to fight for others who are going through a tragedy. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, you deserve more. You deserve better. You deserve Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Sabonis is there, gets the rebound. He's got Tari Eason on his back. Finds Herter, sets up an alley-oop. Keegan Murray to the rim. Bingo, bango, bongo. That's the way you do it. Long outlet pass from Sabonis to Herter, and right at the rim for Keegan Murray to steer down.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
$30 more minutes. Kyle is just trolling with the not like us. You played on game day.
Yes, that's the
every
joke.
time.
It's always at 1:30 on game days every day. This is how we get excited.
And I shake my head every single time.
Yes, because I'm gonna run this into the ground until we literally.
It's underground.
Yeah, and we're gonna keep driving it into the ground because again, how cool is it that the biggest cultural song of the year has a Sacramento
The new
Kings.
year.
The song came out in April, as far as I'm concerned. That's 12-month calendar, but it has an actual Sacramento King in the.
I
music
know
video.
that. I'm aware.
Come on, I know you. I'm explaining to the audience.
They know. Trust me. They know. 209 says Rod Wave makes the most depressing music of all time. 209, now that you say it like that, maybe Keegan liking Rod Wave isn't as random as I thought. Maybe it does make more sense.
No, that's just my generation. I'm telling you right now. The amount of kids I know who are listening to EXO Tour Life by Lil Uzi Vert,
Yeah.
that's like the saddest song ever, and it's like one of the 50 most streamed songs on Spotify.
Hey,
That's me and Keegan. That's our generation.
I like it too. All right. Funny stuff. 209. Real quick, before we get into the net rating and what the Rockets have been doing, here is the injury report. Malik Monk probable with that groin soreness. Seems like it really was just that, a soreness, because we know you don't want to play around with the groin situation. Devin Carter questionable. Yeah, somebody great eye. Somebody mentioned that they saw Devin Carter kind of ding up that shoulder last game, and he is questionable. So we will keep an eye on that. As far as the Rockets are concerned, this is interesting. Two guys that have been maybe not talked about enough in a potential De'Aaron Fox deal, or two guys that a lot of Houston media and Houston fans think would be untouchable. Both guys, Jabari Smith Jr., who didn't have a great game against the Kings last game. Jabari Smith Jr. is out with a broken hand, and Tari Eason is doubtful because of a lower leg. Jock Landale is questionable for personal reasons. So that's what we're looking at right now. So two kind of young studs that one for sure that the Rockets won't have, and another one you see doubtful. You got to think that you probably won't see Tari Eason tonight for the Houston Rockets. Okay, what have the Rockets been doing so far? this season? Well, nothing short of the 6th position in net rating, 11th in offensive rating, and 3rd in defensive rating. So they will get after you defensively. So a day where you hope that you get Malik back, you're definitely going to need it. And obviously they're always chippy. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder. What's up,
We
Kyle?
have got some late breaking news coming in here right now on the injury report. Fred VanVleet for the Houston Rockets is out tonight with personal reasons. Just announced a couple minutes ago. Fred VanVleet is out.
So triple team Jalen Green. And if Dylan Brooks beats you, tip your cap.
Or the Thompson twin that you think is turning into something. What was the term you said earlier?
I said both of them are starting to turn into something.
Yeah, so it's Thompson twin and Jalen Green, and Sabonis
and Şengün, obviously.
But Sabonis does a really good job guarding Şengün
because he sees himself in Şengün.
I don't know what it is, but if you look at Şengün's splits against Sabonis, he is less than his averages.
So that's huge. And again, there have been opportunities for the Kings throughout the season. Look, the Bucks took advantage of, and it all, it all evens out. Just like what I say with wifey. Sometimes, I'll pay for dinner. Sometimes you'll pay for dinner. Hey, you want me to Venmo? Oh, it all evens out. The Kings had to take on the Bucks last game of a road trip without Malik Monk. Tell them what they get in return, Johnny. Now they get the Rockets without Jabari Smith Jr., possibly without Tari Eason, and without Fred VanVleet. You got to take advantage.
Jason Anderson of the Sac B has the latest update. 42 seconds ago, the Houston Rockets have ruled Fred VanVleet personal, Jabari Smith Jr., broken hand, and Jock Landale personal reasons out for tonight. Tari Eason has been upgraded to questionable.
Okay. So they might have Tari Eason, but still, Fred VanVleet, their point guard, that's huge.
Yeah, Tari Eason did not play last night with the injury, so we'll see what happens, but upgraded from doubtful to questionable at least.
There you go. This is going to be a spicy game regardless. I would be surprised if it's a blowout in either way. We got to look up, and on the other side with Prop Talk and Dog Segment, we will give you that spread and betting line in case you are curious, and that's the thing, Kyle, as we kind of joke about taking advantage of these situations, that's like when, wifey knows that I'm paying, all of a sudden she doesn't go super crazy, but she'll make sure we'll take care of it. Whenever it's my turn, we end up at In-N-Out or something like that, so I just get an extra burger just because.
Sure. You're paying, therefore it's your treat. Yeah, I think your issue, you don't have an issue with that from what I'm hearing. It's more the reciprocation of when you're the one paying, can I
She does it at the end, right? Where I don't know. And then it's, oh no, you've gotten a couple. I'll get this one. And then I've already ordered at that point.
Smart game. Smart game.
I'll get you. It's a chicken bake at Costco. What are we talking about?
It's $5.
That's right.
But look, you got a treat.
I did get a treat. That's all I deserve. Great stuff. Love you, wifey. And as we continue to have this conversation, Malik Monk, probable, Devin Carter, the shoulder thing, and I guess we're still waiting to hear on Devin Carter.
It's questionable as of now.
Okay, so we're still waiting to hear. Feel good about Malik Monk. It's going to be a tough one, man. And the Rockets are going to have something for sure for the Kings, who the Kings last time, it got chippy, but it wasn't really that chippy player to player. There was the Dylan Brooks thing where they were mad at the refs. Then Dylan Brooks was mad at the crowd. That was also the night. That was the best production night I think the Kings have had all season, because they did the thing where they kept showing Dylan Brooks and he kept getting booed as well.
Yeah, and the baby.
The booing and the baby. So there was that going on. And then it was more of, it felt like Ime Udoka was just trying to ride for his guys when he got into it with the refs and Şengün, and there were some ejections. But the chippiness wasn't really player to player, if I'm not mistaken.
There was that brief Dylan Brooks to De'Aaron Fox interaction, but again, you're talking about, and we talked about this the day after the show, I remember, it's like instigated by Dylan Brooks, the instigator. It's like we have to grade on a scale a little bit. Like of the Dylan Brooks instigator incidents, that one was barely registering.
No, it's not even close. So there's going to be a situation, I feel, tonight, and I think the Kings, I'm excited to see Doug Christie's Kings prepare and be prepared for this. Somebody on the chat said, if they lose, what's a bigger deal, or is this a must win? And I stopped doing the must win thing a very long time ago. But as far as whether this they went on to say, would this make the win streak look like a fluke? I don't think so. But I don't think the Kings have that much to lose, but they have a lot to gain. If you can come through after the 7-game win streak, you lose to the Bucks. We kind of are giving you a pass there. No Malik Monk. And you say, no, that wasn't just a weird random thing that happened. We're going to beat the number 2 team in the West again with a new coach and coming back from the road trip where normally they haven't played well that first game. I think there's a lot for the Kings to gain. I don't think there's that much for the Kings to lose. If they lose, I think we just have to see what happens. They got the Wizards. They got the Warriors. The Warriors got a win last night, so they're starting to feel better about themselves. I don't think it all goes out the window, but if they win, it's, these guys are really not playing around.
Yeah, and I know that you take it with a grain of salt because the Rockets are missing 2 of their 3 best players, I guess you would argue. So, yeah, obviously take it with a grain of salt. The Kings are favored going into the game, but it would be a big win coming back from the road trip, or at least a reaffirming win to have this. I know you don't overlook an opponent, but they're going to beat the Wizards on Sunday. I feel very confident saying they're going to beat the Wizards on Sunday. If not, going to be a tough Monday for me, but have that back-to-back wins
for everybody, by the way.
Well, yeah, probably everybody, but especially me. 22-20 coming out of that, and then that tough stretch they have coming up. Yeah, it would be incredibly reassuring, especially when you think back to where they were 2 weeks ago.
One more segment with you, Prop Talk Dog segment and predictions. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Rockets. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports, 1140.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for the Start Something New sales event?
Right now, you can lease a new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4x8 plug-in for as low as $319 a month. For 42 months with $39.95 due at signing. Plus, with 56 MPGE, you'll save thousands at the pump.
And in one of America's favorite SUVs.
Exactly. And that's not it. Not only do we have great deals on new Jeeps, but the Hoblet family dealers is growing with a huge selection of used cars at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter, with over 200 used vehicles available and 40 under $20,000.
Get the new Jeep your family needs. It's waiting at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
Lease of $319 for 42 months before tax and license. Must be California resident for rebates, including $7,500 SFS hybrid electric federal tax credit and $2,500 West SFS lease cash. Must finance through Stellantis. $39.95 due at signing. 10,000 miles per year. 30 cents per mile over. Tax and license extra. 5 of this net savings. Sample MSRP 62,225. VIN 681180. See dealer for details.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back. May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington,
Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
There's no better time than now to get yourself into a brand new Jeep because it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, offering the best deals in town and a selection other dealers are jealous of. Stop on by. They're just off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
All right, Kyle, let's do some prop talk.
I have to wait for it to drop.
Time for some prop talk. We're going to try to get you some cheese. I know some of you get paid tomorrow, but if you don't, or if you do, how about a little bonus? All right, Kyle, you felt really good about this one, and I think you may have found a sneaky one here that I wouldn't be surprised if it went up before the game is over. Why don't you tell us what it is?
All right. So I was looking at the different player options here, and my eyes kind of glimmered when I saw that they have Keon Ellis ones because they don't always have the Keon Ellis props available to you.
Right.
I think that's probably Devin Carter injury related, maybe.
Yes.
But sometimes even when he's starting, he's not always on there. But Keon Ellis, his offensive production is kind of up and down, but I think if he's getting 20 minutes a game, you feel pretty good that Keon Ellis is going to produce something for you on offense, right? So I think the number was 8.5 for points, rebounds, assists combined.
Yes.
That's just saying Keon Ellis is going to do 9 things while he's on the floor tonight. And I feel pretty confident saying that he's going to go over that, although, you know, it's less fun to do it when it's like, oh, you're just banking on Keon getting a certain number of minutes instead of what player is going to have an impact on victory. Like last time I said Keegan on those 3-pointers, and he
did hit
real nice.
Yeah.
Was it right at the very end? Don't worry about it, but he did cover. So I Keon Ellis, 8.5 points, rebounds, assists combined just feels like easy money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if he has 6 points, 2 rebounds, and assists, that has no bearing on whether the Kings are going to win or lose.
But that's not the game, Kyle.
I know, but I like to have some analysis and information and stuff, and this is just like, it's too easy.
You are analyzing in a different way.
Yeah.
All right.
And he's going to probably be guarding Jalen Green a lot.
By the way, some due to injury, but Keon Ellis has gone over that line in every game in the last 5 games. Every single game he's gone over that. What they're banking on is, I guess, the return of Malik Monk, but it's been Malik Monk's been out, De'Aaron Fox has been out. I think, to your point, Kyle, and this leads me to my prop, I think without Devin Carter and how it's either going to be Kevin Huerter is going to show up in some way, or Keon's going to go over this line, and maybe both things happen.
Yeah, because we talked about it with the Boston game. I think Frankie had the tweet where he was like, this is the first time the entire season the Kings have been fully healthy.
Yeah.
Like no one on the injury report. And in that game, it was a whole lot of Keon Ellis. I'm sorry, it was a whole lot of Devin Carter down the stretch and Keon Ellis sitting on the bench. So I understand why you might look at it and say, well, they've got all these options. Maybe Keon Ellis isn't a lock to play 20 minutes or a lock to play 25 minutes for whatever reason. But we assume he's going to be the first one off the bench, even if Devin Carter and Trey Lyles are playing.
Yeah, that's a good point, and it is questionable. So if Devin plays, might get sticky, but I still think that I'm in agreement with your pick. My pick is directly connected to Devin Carter, so we'll see. Not directly, but in a way. My pick, I am taking, and I think it's time for him to ball out. He tends to randomly do this when it's a national game. We just talked about his love of Rod Wave and how he's been on a different level. Give me Keegan Murray, 17.5 points. Excuse me, it just dropped as I'm looking. The line has dropped down. Keegan Murray, and I wonder if that's because Devin Carter is available. Or maybe they didn't know about Malik Monk, but Keegan Murray, 16.5 points and rebounds. I will take that to the bank all day. Keegan Murray, 16.5 points and rebounds. What's up, Sacramento? We've seen Keegan Murray kind of return to form, so I'm going to take that one. I'm taking that one right now.
I like it. I mean, I cashed in on some Keegan Murray last time, or if you took my advice, you would have cashed in on Keegan Murray the last game. So, yeah, and if I had to guess, I don't think Keegan is going to be guarding Jalen Green. I mean, maybe they will. At
some point.
But who is his matchup tonight? Is it going to be Thompson? Is it going to be Tari?
And Thompson, he can guard too. I don't know what's happening, but it's now bumped up to 17.5 points and rebounds. So some news is probably about to come out. I don't know.
Well, how confident are you then? Are you that confident in Keegan Murray being able to get to 18?
I'm going to have to be. Keegan Murray, 17.5. I kind of just wanted to do something different. We're not going to do Domas rebounds anymore. Keegan Murray, 17.5.
I think I said Domas might have had a 20-20 in the Bucks game, and I'm so sorry that I said that was going to happen. I totally jinxed that.
You hit on another Domantas Sabonis one recently that I didn't believe in, so we'll give you.
I think I just said he would guard Giannis, which didn't go great, but he did guard Giannis.
Yes, much to, I guess, all the fans' chagrin. All right, Kyle, it's time for the dog segment. Let's get some dogs in. Time for our dog segment. Get your dogs in. Sack Chat. Text line as well, 916-339-1140. Yes, we just did prop talk, but dog segment, it's not about numbers. It's not about stats. It's about a feeling. It's about who shows up when it matters the most. Who will be tonight's dog of the game? Amid Rock on the Sack Chat says, Fox is going to be my dog. 28 points for De'Aaron Fox. The 530 says Keon Ellis will be my dog. He's going to lock up Jalen Green. 916 says Malik Monk will be my dog. He is returning from that groin injury, ready to go. Todd on the Sack Chat says Keon Ellis, my dog. He'll have 22 points. Let's keep it going, Kyle. Who is your dog for tonight?
All right, Mr. Stiles. Well, in a world where there is no Fred VanVleet and probably no Tari Eason, I would guess tonight, I would assume that our buddy Dylan the Villain, Dylan Brooks, going to be matched up on one DeMar DeRozan tonight. And let me ask you, Mr. Stiles, if you had to say right now, who you think is a bigger dog, would you say Dylan the Villain Brooks or DeMar DeRozan? Who's a bigger dog to you?
Different dogs, different breeds. But I'm saying DeMar.
And you are so right. DeMar DeRozan is going to be the dog of the game tonight for the Sacramento Kings. Dylan Brooks got nothing on DeMar DeRozan.
Well, Dylan Brooks is going to have his hands full because who do you put Dylan Brooks on? And by the way, there's a lot going on right now, Kyle. By the way,
you said it. You said the name. It was time for DeMar DeRozan.
Well, I was going to say, with Drake's weird lawsuit being dropped and now a defamation lawsuit, maybe DeMar will go off for his boy Kendrick. So there you go, DeMar DeRozan. Did not see that one coming, Kyle. Great pick. Aaron says he's going with Trey Lyles. 15 or more points with 4 threes. We are due for a Trey Lyles night like that. We're definitely due for something like that.
Lyles movement.
That's what we need to see. Dwayne Baker says Sabonis is going to be a big dog and clearing the yard of Brooks and Şengün. My dog, I didn't say mine yet. My dog, I had Keegan for my prop talk. I don't normally like to double up. There is a part of me that thinks Kevin Huerter, it's time. He's set at 5.5 points. And I know it's not prop talk, but we're either due for a Trey Lyles banger or a Kevin Huerter banger. We are due. I'm going to go Kevin Huerter banger.
Kevin Huerter.
Thank you so much for that. Last but not least, Kyle, I know we got to go quick. Drive guys up next. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. Kings favored by 4.5 points tonight. Give me a score.
The Kings will win by 4.5. No, I'm kidding. The Kings will win, 120 to 110.
Whoa, all right. I do like the result. I don't think the Rockets get to 110. I don't know that the Kings get to 120. Give me 111 to 106. Vegas always knows. Kings cover, but barely. Thank you for listening to the Allen Stiles Show. Thank you to Kyle. Thank you to Trissy Rodriguez. Thank you to all the callers, texters, sack chatters, drive guys up next. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. Until tomorrow, secure the bag, like the beam.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Gotta go. Please require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine